It is 10:02. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The final SEC series of the college baseball season got underway on Thursday. Tennessee's bats came alive with a 10-7 win at Arkansas. Game 2 is tonight at 6:30. You can hear the Vol Network call right here on The Zone. Vanderbilt outlasted Kentucky at home with an 8-7 win. Game 2 is tonight at 6. NBA playoffs, the Denver Nuggets forced Game 7 with a 119-107 win over the Thunder on Thursday. Nikola Jokic, a 29-point double-double. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals, 3-1. The final at the Capitals in Game 5. And the Winnipeg Jets clawed back to beat the Stars 4-0. They force a Game 6 this weekend. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Morale is through the roof. Robert came in here and said it's going to be an all-time vibe show. I don't know what's giving him that impression, but I suppose now we'll have to live up to Triple B. Is that what we're calling him? Triple B's expectations.
Oh, he did it.
This morning. 615-737-1045 is the number. I would tell you to go have a cigarette after that for the sound that you just made. You sound post-coital at that point, but I know you've already had 17 before the show even started.
He's got the nameplate to show for it, too.
I don't think that's a real thing. I haven't seen it with my own eyes.
Where is it? Is it back there?
No, it's at my house.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because he isn't, again, the suit, the resident suit on the show doesn't have an office or a desk here, which makes me question his veracity as a authority figure. But perhaps, at some point, maybe when you're 10 years down the line, they'll finally give you a little, like one of those little student desks that's a chair and a desk attached to one another that you probably can't fit in properly.
I 100% can't fit in properly, but I'd be able to say, look at this great view.
F&M Bank Chat, also available for you. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We all do seem to be in a good mood, which is rare. So we're happy to have you for the next 3 hours. Coach Mack will be here. That will improve the situation as it always does. And we got some good Greg Cosell audio for you as well. We do have to start. Well, we're going to talk about this Caleb Williams story at some point because it's a fascinating piece written by Seth Wickersham at ESPN detailing how the number one overall pick did not want to go to a franchise that is considered, according to his father, the place where quarterbacks go to die. And all the different details about that saw him trying to usurp the Bears' situation to get to the Minnesota Vikings, which would have been an infinitely better situation for Caleb Williams to land, given that, according to the reporting, little details like nobody taught him how to watch film at the NFL level last year as an NFL quarterback in his rookie season, and he was a bit frustrated by that. So it's an interesting look inside what these guys are up against when they get drafted at the top of the draft to bad organizations and how the Titans can avoid some of these things that have caused at least Caleb Williams and the Williams family on the front end to have their feathers ruffled. But we do have a unique situation going on this weekend. Lucas, you have a cousin in town who has been stateside from Italy for about 3 weeks now in Birmingham, staying with your dad.
Yep.
He is coming up to Nashville for the first time. How did you phrase the poll? At Buck Rising is where you can vote on the polls each and every morning, made possible by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. How did you phrase the poll about the experience, the journey that the three of us and Megan and who else is coming tonight that we're about to take your Italian cousin on?
My dad will be here, too. Robert and Cheyenne will be out with us. You phrased the poll, and I quote the question, what is the hardest thing in Nashville for the European mind to comprehend? Because my cousin, Antonio, has, like you said, never been to America, and his experience so far has just been Birmingham, Alabama, with my father, staying with his uncle down there. He's got a job at an Italian restaurant downtown. He's just graduated culinary school in Italy, so he's over here wanting to perfect his English. He wants to work in the restaurant business, and it helps to be fluent in English when you want to climb that ladder.
Alabama, not the place that I would go to perfect the English
well,
language.
when your uncle lives in the U.S. and you've got a free place to stay for months at a time.
I'm just saying, like you're talking about, he's working at an Italian restaurant in Birmingham, downtown Birmingham, and here to learn the language. in Alabama. We got this kid off to a bad start. We
Full immersion, baby.
He's taking someone's order. What can I get y'all to eat? I would like to start.
I want you to do an Alabama accent, but in Italian.
What can I help you with?
That was better than I thought.
I was worried it was going to go off. I would
stroked out a little bit.
I would like to start the proceedings with things the European mind can't comprehend. How fat everyone downtown will be.
Yes.
But with all of the walking that is included. How are they so fat?
Well, they're coming from other places. We are not Tennessee, the Southeast, not known for its health and fitness. It's more known for its cuisine that would work to the opposite of health and fitness.
Yes.
More known for fitness than food in their mouth.
Which we will experience tonight with some barbecue.
Absolutely.
Some good old-fashioned American barbecue.
Love that for him. But all the fat people from all the other fat states in the country, like Indiana and Kentucky and Alabama and Georgia and all these other things, they come to Broadway because it's like Disneyland for them. It's like going to Disney. Like, it would be like, you see a lot of fat Disney adults, the Disney people. I'm sure you've seen these people on TikTok that are like the husky Disney folks or something like that. They do TikTok dances.
I don't know why you keep giving them an adjective. You could just call them Disney adults. Every time it's like, these fat-ass, husky, round, rotund Disney humans.
Because they're fat. Like, they're fat.
The only people you can make fun of still to this day are the
Fat
fats.
people?
Yes.
The fats?
Well, I mean, I'm one of them. I'm allowed to say that word. You guys, that's our word. You guys can't say that.
I, as a former fat myself, I feel like I have rights.
Yeah, you've really switched up. It wasn't that long ago that you were a bit husky yourself.
That's tough. I will allow Buck to do it as long as he doesn't get too derogatory towards the fats.
Well, there's no way that now that I am no longer one of them, I'm absolutely going to slander the fats that way. Robert was trying to work in a Freaky Friday situation yesterday where he said he wanted to switch bodies with me for a week just to eat all the terrible food that I don't eat.
I would destroy the temple. You would come back. You would come back and you would look like Ben Stiller at the end of Dodgeball. You would be holding
Trying
both
to
of
make
them.
it funny? See? I want to make fun of the fats today. Why not? We're going to do plenty of it with his Italian cousin tonight. He's going to be like, what the hell is this? 615-737-1045. So we have posed the idea of the Parthenon being the thing in Nashville, Tennessee that the European mind cannot comprehend.
We'll probably check out the Parthenon tomorrow.
Because Robert is going to try to convince him that that's the original as opposed to the replica that was created for the World Fair.
As I understood, they brought it here from Greece and then rebuilt it in Greece. So this is the original.
Yes, indeed. So we will work our way through that.
So they say Greece is the Nashville of Europe, I'm pretty sure.
What Nashville is what? Athens of the South? Is that the
Yes.
Okay, got it.
I feel like nobody really calls it that anymore, but it was that for quite some time.
They're too busy trying to shoehorn Nash Vegas, which I mean, I'm sure locals hate more than I would hate it. But
yeah. But
it's just so many.
So he's been stateside for only a few weeks, and he's only been eating like Italian food. I mean, because he's working at an Italian restaurant. He's living with my dad.
He's scared. He's scared. What do you mean, cow tongue?
Well, no, but that's all. He and my dad are just making pizza in my dad's pizza oven and pasta every night. He has experienced Buffalo Wild Wings, and he has experienced Bass Pro Shops and Buc-ee's. So he has checked those off the list. Now, you can make a face, like it or not.
I would never in
all of those
1,000
things.
years. I do not understand the obsession with Buc-ee's. It's why do people want more variety of gas stations?
It doesn't matter what you think. All of those things are quintessential to the American experience. So he's
Sure.
checked all of those boxes, and now he comes to Nashville. And we're going to get barbecue tonight. We're taking him to Broadway tonight. We'll do the Parthenon tomorrow. They're going to go to the Nashville SC game while I go work it. We'll be at Beer Festival. That'll be fun to get to try all these American beers. That, by the way, 20 or more vendors at Game Terminal, 1045thezone.com now to buy tickets to benefit the Nashville Humane Association. But if there's anything that we're leaving out, then let us know in the comments. F&M Bank Chat, live on YouTube.
I am making us some reservations. It's 7 o'clock. Let's say 6 people. Okay, we are confirmed Olive Garden tonight, 7 o'clock. I want to show him the finest. Only the finest.
Do we have an Olive Garden?
I believe it's near.
Of course we have an Olive Garden.
Our Olive
It's
Garden.
near the mall.
There's not a city in America that doesn't have an Olive Garden.
Mall. There's not a mall
Opry
in Green
Mills.
Hills. Oh, okay. That mall. The Olive Garden
Yes,
of malls.
the mall that the fats frequent. Yes.
We're obviously going to take him to Hattie B's tomorrow for lunch.
As one does.
For some Nashville hot chicken as well.
Excellent.
Upset you're leaving off Fazoli's.
Somebody is suggesting that we should take him to Fazoli's and pose it as authentic Italian cuisine, respectfully to Fazoli's. If they want to pay us money to talk about their lovely Italian cuisine, then we will cross that bridge when we get to it.
I will recuse myself. That's where I draw the line.
Time he doesn't want... Really?
Dude, we eat leftover meatball
You're the
subs.
perfect stereotype. You speak it. You can talk about the Italian or the Fazoli's menu in Italian.
Drawing the line. I still have a shred of dignity, though it may be hard to see.
Take me to that big tomato.
Oh, my God. All right, so we're going to have a fun show. I guess we're just slap happy for reasons that are beyond our control, but that usually makes for 3 good hours, or at least 3 fun hours of radio. Whether it's good or not will be determined. Do we have things to give away for Friday Fire?
Oh, we do. It's 2 tickets to see AC/DC next Tuesday, and Lucas and I are doing our damnedest to go to that show.
I walked in. I'm going to be out of town on Tuesday.
Except pay for tickets.
Yeah, well, that you're gonna grift off the station for free tickets, and
We'll do everything in our power except pay for it.
Except pay the artists who are there to perform at our pleasure.
They're doing fine, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. But I walked into work about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, and I just hear blaring AC/DC down the hallway, and the two of them in a dark room rocking out.
Headbanging.
They got little devil headbands on, and they're watching people with devil headbands on at a 2009 AC/DC show. You guys should go. It'd be a good time. Is it Nissan? I assume. All right. So we got tickets for you at 11:45. If you give us your Friday Fire, the thing that made you feel good this week. We always like a little moment of positivity, but we got a lot to do in the meantime, including talking about this Caleb Williams story, why he didn't want to play for the Bears as the #1 overall pick. Stick around on this Friday. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. What are we doing, AC/DC today? Or are you just going to play it once and then forget about it for the rest of the show?
Probably that.
Okay, that's fine. I just want us to be consistent. I want to set expectations reasonably. Caleb Williams did not have high expectations of the team that would go on to draft him with the number 1 overall selection. At least that is the reporting of Seth Wickersham at ESPN, who is still one. I mean, we don't have many great investigative Big J journos out here doing it. Wickersham and Don Van Natta are really, I think, the sports industry standard anymore, or at least those are the people who are doing it with the most consistency and regularity and actually getting in the weeds on some of these stories on how this league and the people in it actually work. And Wickersham is writing a book that is going to be published or will be available for purchase in September. It's called American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. And that in and of itself is interesting as subject matter because we understand the place, the pedestal that the quarterback position has in sports just generally, right? Not just in the NFL, but I mean, many people would make the argument. There's probably not much of an argument to be made anymore that it is the single most important position in American sports. Now, Caleb Williams is one of the subject matters in there, and for the book, Wickersham has a couple of quotes from Caleb Williams' father, Carl. Apparently, the Williams family, prior to the 2024 draft, was so concerned about being picked by the Chicago Bears that they basically consulted with legal help to try and figure out, was there a way to get out of being drafted number 1 overall by the Chicago Bears? I don't know why they couldn't have just picked up the phone and called Arch Manning. Archie, not
They
Arch.
did.
And go through all those processes that they did, and that is something that is also detailed in here. But they
like they did speak with Archie.
Yes. And with all the different things all the different paths that they chose to explore, ultimately he ends up getting drafted by the Chicago Bears, but not without a lot of hemming and hawing on the front end of how the hell can we get out of this as the place, according to Carl Williams, that quarterbacks go to die.
The most extreme way out that they kind of mulled over was the option, consulting with lawyers to figure out a way around the league's collective bargaining agreement while considering signing with the UFL, going to play in the United Football League for the, I don't even, are the Birmingham Stallions still a thing, or the Michigan Panthers? I think
so, yeah.
XFL and USFL merged.
Brothers slapped the hell out of a fan at a Michigan Panthers.
Yeah, going to play for the Panthers or something for a year in order to be an unrestricted free agent after next year. They legitimately considered that to avoid going to Chicago. Caleb Williams didn't want to play for Shane Waldron. Caleb Williams' dad didn't want his son to play for the Chicago Bears, and they did call Archie Manning, who obviously helped Eli assert some sort of control with his landing spot back in 2004. So, I mean, they hit every button. They explored every option here to try and find the trap door out of Chicago.
Now, maybe that doesn't matter to the Bears anymore, although I guess the Bears ownership recently passed away in Virginia Hallis McCaskey, so maybe there's no hard feelings with the new ownership group. Who is there a new controlling owner of the Bears? Has that been out there yet? I don't know if those things get voted on.
I'm honestly not sure.
Anyway. So they explored every opportunity, as Lucas said. They looked at how Eli Manning's situation played itself out. They spoke with Archie Manning. They met with labor lawyers, agents, and even considered, as Lucas said, whether he should sign Caleb Williams with the UFL and become an unrestricted NFL free agent in 2025 to be able to pick the team of his choice. The quote from Carl Williams on the collective bargaining agreement and the rookie cap situation, quote, "The rookie cap is just unconstitutional. Worst piece of bleep I've ever read. It's the worst in sports history." And the place that they desired more than Chicago was Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell is obviously very reputable as somebody who works with quarterbacks and develops them. Apparently, they had a conversation with general manager Ryan Poles, who told him, "Hey, we're drafting you no matter what. We got your rights. If you are draft eligible, you are being drafted by the Chicago Bears. So if you try this UFL stunt, you're just going to end up a Chicago Bears, like when Gronk retired and then tried to go to the Bucks the Patriots still had his rights. Didn't they have to trade Gronk as a part of that? I think there was an actual trade that was executed so Gronk could go to Tampa Bay after retiring with Tom Brady. The thing that they did not really go down the path of was to publicly start to take out the Bears as an organization, and also the city of Chicago, which would not endear itself well to a number 1 overall pick. I mean, understandably, it is. I mean, if you had to pick a franchise where the quarterback position goes to die, would it not be Chicago?
Yeah, there's that franchise has the biggest sample size, right, of a historic franchise.
Because they've been around for 100 years.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that they haven't gotten it right to that extent is insane, apart from that, mid-'80s bump. But, yeah, that being the last resort to publicly attack the Bears in the city of Chicago, the article reads, hoping that it would make the situation untenable, similar to what Jack and John Elway had done with the Baltimore Colts in 1983. And Caleb was concerned that if they did try and the Bears refused to trade him, it would make a tough situation worse. And in the end, Caleb Williams told Seth Wickersham, quote, I wasn't ready to nuke the city.
Cleveland would like a word about being the quarterback graveyard.
Yeah.
Like that jersey that has 55 names duct taped across the back of it, strowing to the ground like a CVS receipt, would like to say something.
Yeah, because how many quarterbacks did the Browns churn through during the Jay Cutler era alone in Chicago?
Oh, my God. When was Cutler traded from Denver to the Bears? Early 2000s? Grossman was the quarterback for that Super Bowl.
Cutler was, I believe, a 2006 first-round pick. He was in Chicago in 2009.
Okay. So, yeah 2009
through 2016 was the Jay Cutler era in Chicago.
God. That is a quarterback graveyard unto itself. So many of their seasons have been quarterback graveyards alone.
Yeah.
But, and listen, this is what Kevin O'Connell, and this was prior to that clip of Kevin O'Connell on the Rich Eisen show that we talked at great length about last offseason, where he said organizations ruin players more than players fail organizations. And specific to the quarterback position, because I think the question posed to him was, about the rookie quarterback churn or just about the quarterback churn in general. And evidence of this all over the place. Trevor Lawrence was a no doubt number 1 overall pick. Surefire, best prospect we've seen since Andrew Luck coming out of the draft process. And he's been objectively bad because he plays for a bad organization. I know Titans fans have incredibly high hopes for Cam Ward, but there is always a portion of Titans fans, no matter how small that percentage might be, that will accuse this organization of being one of these teams, one of these franchises that ruins players, specific to the quarterback position. And they are hoping that that is not the case for Cam Ward, and there's reason to believe that Cam Ward has, at least starting out, as much help as they were capable of getting him this offseason. So I don't think there's any outright concern about that. It's not Ken Wisenhunt and Mariota where, the coach was just, he wasn't actively putting Marcus in harm's way, but he refused to adjust his situation to help protect Mariota with the offensive line situation being as disastrous as it was way back when in 2015.
You have to be a particular kind of quarterback, right? You have to think that you have a particular kind of leverage to even explore these options.
Well, this is
if you're Caleb Williams.
This is like the first-gen NIL, what's my leverage actually kind of play here. And ultimately, the player doesn't end up going through with it, right? Because what's the line? He doesn't want to nuke the city of Chicago.
Yeah, well, and kind of buried in this, because obviously the lead is what they explored to try and get out of going to play for the Chicago Bears. And by the way, to an extent, they were right. Caleb Williams said, I don't want to go play for Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron's not there anymore. They had to fire that entire coaching staff. But it does say after his pre-draft visit to the Bears facility, Williams believed he could be part of the process to turn the franchise around. So after going to Chicago and meeting everybody, and granted, after exploring options that just weren't tenable, he came back to his dad and said, quote, I can do it for this team. I'm going to go to the Bears. So there's some damning stuff on here, though. What is this one? At times, Williams said that during his rookie season, he would watch film alone with no instruction or guidance from the coaches. Quote, no one tells me what to watch. I just turn it on.
And you know what? He looked like it at times, because I see some comments on YouTube from a couple of people. One person says, well, he looked happy during Hard Knocks. Where is this coming from? Do you understand that teams have final say on Hard Knocks? Which makes the Joe Shane thing even crazier. The fact that they were comfortable letting all that stuff get out into the public.
But I do believe that Caleb Williams, the competitive makeup of Caleb Williams, got to a point where he kind of had to come to terms with, okay, I'm going to be a Chicago Bear. All right, I'm going to go turn around the Chicago Bears. Like,
sure.
I don't believe he was a malcontent the entire time or since he's arrived in Chicago.
But also,
just because they explored some options.
Don't cite to me where is this information coming from when Seth Wickersham is doing detailed reporting and say, well, he looked happy on Hard Knocks, which is one of the most heavily edited things that's in the NFL sphere.
You're going to look happy at Game Terminal's 4th Annual Beer Fest if you go tomorrow, 2 to 6 p.m. We'll all be there. Looking forward to it. Get ready for a day filled with beer, cider, and alcohol tastings, games, fun, and excitement. You get tastings, a gift bag, and swag with your purchase. $40 online, $50 at the door, and proceeds go to the Nashville Humane Association. 1045thezone.com is where you buy tickets. Going to be fun. Game Terminal, a great spot, huge arcade, great back patio where all the vendors and DJs will be. Can't wait to see y'all out there.
There's a couple of, so I want to read a couple of these comments before we continue to talk about this story, and then take it into the context of the Titans. Like how can they continue to do as much as humanly possible to support a rookie quarterback so Cam Ward is not the next one of these burnouts where there are so many, and it's not just the Titans organization where you're talking about. S. Dot says, I think we can, on YouTube, I think we can admit, and by the way, you can call us and talk about this story if you would like to, 615-737-1045. But on YouTube, S. Dot says, I think we could admit there's a glaring difference in the Elway Manning families versus the Williams. I assume he's making a comment there about race. But, and again, I will admit that I have blind spots, so I would ask you what bearing that would have if that is a comment that you are comfortable presenting without context. I'm open to hear what the thought process might be there if there's actual evidence of how that might have impacted him. But I don't know. I mean, at least there's not enough in the reporting to indicate that that was any kind of a factor in any way, shape, or form.
Well, the very obvious difference between the Manning family and the Williams family is the Manning family is the Manning family. Like Archie Manning calling around with teams and trying to leverage a position for his son.
Sure, but that's not what that specific comment is alleging, right? Because it's the Elway and Manning family.
So I don't know anything about John Elway's family history and how that could have helped him leverage anything. I'm with you on that.
The other comment that I found interesting here, and then we can move on and continue to talk about this, on a couple of different fronts, there was, and I lost track of the comment, but basically somebody saying Chicago wishes that he would have done it, that he would have tried to do something less than ideal to get out of the Chicago situation because they would have ended up with Jane Daniels.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Jack Elway.
You found it?
Was just a longtime coach. Was the head coach at San Jose State, at Stanford. So he would have had a lot more connections than somebody like Caleb Williams' father.
Maybe. I don't know. We don't know the level of detail to which Caleb Williams' father is probably connected on a variety of different fronts because he's got the son that he does. And especially in today's recruiting atmosphere, I would imagine that he's got plenty of football contacts that would be, I don't know, at least comparable to a coach in when did Elway get drafted? The 80s?
Yeah, but it is different. I mean, when you're talking about one father that's been a long-time college football head coach and another that is Archie Manning, I do understand. I think that's probably where he's going with that.
Maybe so.
Now, this poses the question, who will be the next prospect where this conversation could come up, like feasibly? Like Cam Ward, this isn't the personality of Cam Ward, I don't think. I feel like Cam Ward almost would relish going to the worst team in the NFL to try to take on that challenge.
Just the whole thing about it doesn't matter where I'm drafted, the work is the work.
But even if he did have that kind of personality, Cam Ward, it wouldn't be that kind of level of prospect, right, to be able to leverage the situation that much.
No,
I don't think. Year. But what about Arch Manning? There's an obvious family history of the Manning family doing these things with Eli. Arch, though I don't think he'll be eligible he'll be eligible, but I don't think he'll be entering the draft next year. If he's in the draft 2 years from now as the number 1 overall pick, maybe something like this pops up. And maybe we continue to see this with the current state of NIL and players that are so used to being able to leverage at every turn, like Shamar Stewart arriving in Cincinnati as a first-round pick, saying, no, I'm not going to step on the field until I sign my rookie deal. Like that mentality, that's not going to go away.
No, I mean, they're just going to be, it's going to seem so foreign because it is still new to all of us, but to them, this is basically what their high school and college experience has been to get to this point, and then to try and leverage their situation. So you're asking who the next one would be? Well, again, Arch has to come out next year for that to even be a conversation, because then if Arch doesn't, which I think most people expect him not to,
Yeah.
right? And based on what? What is the thing, like what is the big, other than like that family does things differently, and so they may just play out his entire collegiate career, see the full extent of his eligibility before he declares for the NFL draft.
Yeah, I mean, at every turn, Arch has done things more like his uncles than any kid in this current landscape, right?
Okay.
Arch didn't have a shred of social media until the day he announced his commitment to Texas. He made a Twitter account to announce his commitment, and I don't even know if he's posted a tweet since then. Like, he's just handled everything differently because he has his entire family helping him along this path. So both Eli and Peyton came back for their last year of college. I'm just going to expect Arch to follow that path until he doesn't. And again, Archie has done this before when Eli was coming out. So that's the obvious down the line. Everybody's already looking at Arch as a number one overall prospect whenever he comes out, even though he has yet to have a full season as a starter at Texas. And I get why people are doing that. Arch has crazy traits. He's got all the leadership abilities. Teammates love him. He's big. He's fast. He's got these athletic abilities that his uncles didn't have. So I get why people make that leap, even though we haven't seen him do it for a season. But the Mannings have literally done this before. So it's easy to look down the line and say, oh, I could see this situation popping up if, let's see, who could have the number one overall pick in 2 years, not next year's draft, but 2027. Like, what is an NFL team right now that is just an absolute dumpster fire that it's
The
like,
Browns.
oh, man, it could be the Browns. Let's say Tyler Shuck. Like, nothing
Saints,
happens
yeah.
with Tyler Shuck. Could easily be the same. That'd be interesting if the Saints were picking number one with a Manning.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? That's the dream scenario for New Orleans. But as New Orleans, again, with Archie having, and obviously a million things have changed since Archie Manning was the quarterback of the New Orleans Aints, right? Where they wore bags on their heads for how bad the Saints
wasn't
were
a
at
good
that time.
experience for Archie.
No, I know. But like that is the New Orleans Saints fan wet dream to get the grandson of Archie Manning and finally get it right at this point in time.
And now I'm thinking about a scenario where Archie is pulling all the strings to
Get him
avoid
out of New Orleans.
Please do not let my grandson go to this franchise that I had to play for, where he is a legend.
He also has the choice of not going, right? Like, didn't Peyton and Eli both play all 4 years in college and graduate? So if he was going to follow in their footsteps, he would have to stay at Texas another year.
That's what we're saying.
That's kind of what we've been talking about
It's almost
here.
it almost feels more likely that he'll do that.
Sue Ann brings up that the Mannings finished their college education, and I don't know if that is a particular point of emphasis just because, you're there to get an education on top of play football.
I think it's a part of it for them.
Maybe so. I would not pretend to know all the ins and outs and the dynamics of how the Manning family orchestrates their business.
Peyton's talked about it ad nauseum, that he just pretty simple wanted to finish what he started, right? Like, for him, the college experience was a very valuable thing that he didn't want to cut short. He wanted to play that out to its full course and come back to win an SEC championship, which had escaped him to that point in his Tennessee career. So yeah, all of those things. Mm-hmm. Say it, Bev.
But that's kind of my point, though, is that he wouldn't have to pull this. He could just go back to school. If he doesn't like the team that's picking number one in this next year's draft, he doesn't have to pull any stunts.
But in 2 years.
But in 2 years, yes, that would be the detail in 2 years.
Well, why couldn't Williams have done that then?
I believe
he had
was
eligibility left.
Did he?
Didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
Sometimes it's the most obvious answer. Maybe Caleb Williams should have kept it simple, stupid.
Well, I mean, listen, people are having that conversation around Shador.
I'm trying to remember.
But
yeah, he did. He played the 1 year at Oklahoma.
It's also the conversation around Sam Darnold, where if Sam Darnold would have came out the year prior, he probably would have been the number one overall pick.
Oh, my God, Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley
was one of the, cautionary tales of it may not benefit you. I remember Matt Barkley's, his second collegiate season and him being talked about in the conversation as the number one overall pick at USC, and then him going back and it going not.
He ends up being a fourth
favor.
round pick, I believe, to the Eagles. I can't really remember, but
that sounds right.
Caleb Williams would have access to a Barkley to talk about these things.
You know who Peyton would have gone to if he had come out after that 97 season, where he would have been the number one pick?
Oh, would have been here?
No, it would have been the Jets.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Titan,
The one organization that would ruin Peyton Manning. Well, wait,
the
Titans
Oilers had
would,
recently drafted McNair.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, would have been the New York Jets. I mean, and it was like a foregone conclusion. Oh, Peyton's going to be a Jet. He blindsided the entire sports world when he said he's coming back to Tennessee.
615-737-1045 is the number. So he punted on his SEC observations. I assume we're going to have a substantive SEC stat of the day coming up next.
We sure are. Final SEC baseball series of the weekend.
I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone.
All right, we made it to the end of the regular season in college baseball. SEC tournament in Hoover is next weekend. The final series of the SEC regular season slate started yesterday, and Vanderbilt at home hosting Kentucky. They got a win, 8-7 last night. Tennessee on the road against Arkansas. Now, this series is much, much more important for Tennessee than it is for Vanderbilt, simply because of how poorly the Vols have been playing as of late. 4 straight SEC series losses. And just what's on the line for Tennessee is they're on the road at a top 10 team. I mean, playing in Knoxville in the postseason could very well hinge on winning this series in Fayetteville. And the good news for the Vols is their offense came alive. Finally found some juice on Thursday. 15 hits, 4 homers, 10 runs, 10-7 win over Arkansas. That is their highest scoring mark in SEC play in over a month since their last series win in conference play against Ole Miss back in mid-April. They got insurance runs when they needed it. They got timely hits with 2 outs and runners on base, which has been a huge issue over the course of the last few weeks. And a great performance from the bullpen. Arkansas leaving 12 runners on base, and Tennessee snaps a 7-game skid at Arkansas. The Vols have not won in Fayetteville in a baseball series, or have not won a game in Fayetteville since 2015. Yeah. Tony Vitello,
10 years.
For the first time, knocks off his former boss, Dave Van Horn, his mentor, on the road. First time going and winning in the Tony V era at Arkansas against Van Horn and his team. So, good spot for Tennessee to be in to take game 1 of the series. Liam Doyle will be on the mound tonight. That game's at 6:30. It'll be televised on SEC Network, but it will also be heard right here on the Zone. Vol Network, John Wilkerson on the call. Coverage starts at 6:15, again with first pitch at 6:30. So Tennessee fans have gotten very used to success in the Tony Vitello era, have gotten very used to quick, immediate bounce backs when things have gone sour. In the 2023 season, they kind of struggled to get out of the gates before that Vanderbilt series in late April, and then really just accelerated from there with the sweep and ended up in Omaha. So this is new for the Tony V era in its current iteration. These sort of struggles this late in the season. So it's hard to overstate the importance of that game 1 win at Arkansas last night for Tennessee.
Well, Slay has accused them of just outright sucking, right? Isn't that the promo that we just listened to? Brett explaining to me the art of suckage.
Different levels of suckage.
Phrasing. But, for a team that's 18-10 in conference play is under the Vitello era standard. Yes, like that, given what this team has been under Tony V, how he's brought it back from the depths and made it into a national championship program, a team that has championship expectations, a program that has championship expectations year in and year out. They're still 41-13 on the season. They are really... they're 16-12 in SEC play. My mistake, not 18-10. 16-12, but still below the standard of what Vols fans have come to expect. And I don't blame people like Slay for being a bit frustrated with it, but I do think that it's, and I think Slay would agree with this point, and we touched on it briefly when he was in with us earlier in the week talking a little bit about the NBA, which we will get to at some point today, that regular season struggles can help fortify you for postseason play. Once you get into the conference tournament, once you get in the NCAA tournament, like these adversities that you go through throughout the course of your regular season, as long as you still make it to the postseason, they can provide you valuable lessons. I know Brian Callahan with the Titans has talked about this, and the valuable lessons that you can take from losses despite how much losing they did last year to try and prove yourself. You could say this in any profession, anything that you do in life. There is value in failure as long as you learn from that failure, and that's going to be the thing to see how Tennessee goes about learning from the mistakes that have cost them some of these SEC series throughout the course of the regular season, and certainly the consecutive series that they were losing at this point in time. And winning at Arkansas for the first time in a decade is huge.
It's been hard to pin down exactly what Tennessee has struggled with. I'll be the first to admit I am no baseball expert. I do not watch this team nearly as intently as obviously people that cover it and people here like Brent Doherty and Joseph Bonanno are watching almost every game with intent. So they could speak on this better than me. But from what I gather in the series that I've watched and following guys like Eric Kane and Mike Wilson that do a great job of covering this team, I don't think pitching has necessarily been the issue. Like I said, the bullpen was great last night. Liam Doyle, still one of the best arms in the SEC. Andrew Fisher, when he's healthy, one of the best arms in the SEC. Defense has been a big issue, errors, and the lineup has been an issue, not necessarily by the numbers. Like Tennessee's tied for the second best batting average in the SEC. Now, that is pretty inflated by some of their early season, I guess, lack of challenges. Like that is maybe one criticism of Tony Vitello. You'd like to see Tennessee schedule some tougher early season non-conference opponents because, okay, great, you broke this Grand Slam record against Radford early on in the year. What do you really learn about your baseball team? It's got everybody thinking, oh, Tennessee's just running this thing back to win another national championship. And then SEC play started, and you're like, okay, this team's got issues. And Tony Vitello has made tweaks. He's made changes to the lineups, but nothing really takes. And it's not that they just get blanked. It's that they just can't come up with timely hits, that they leave runners stranded, that they're making errors defensively, that they're not finding insurance runs when they need them. And they checked all those boxes last night. So this is a huge series for Tennessee to carry some momentum into the postseason with an always tough gauntlet that is the SEC coming up with the SEC tournament. They need to win this series and probably show something in Hoover in order to feel really good about hosting in the postseason.
Yeah, you guys is there gonna be exhaustive baseball coverage of the SEC tournament while I'm out next week?
Wall to wall. We'll be keeping up with every game, every pitch.
They've literally been planning to just replay the install for an hour and a half while I'm gone.
No, we've got a fun show brewing on Monday. Kevin Dyson's going to join us. He just spoke to all the Titans rookies.
I was just making fun of both of them in the commercial break that they needed a guest at 10:20 on a Monday coming out of a sports weekend.
That's just when he can do it.
It's fine. Don't blame Dyson. Don't use him as a crutch.
Vandy, 17-11 in SEC play, winning last night 8-7 over Kentucky. So they'll get the Cats again tonight. Game 2 is at 6 p.m. at Hawkins Field. Game 3 Saturday at 2. Tennessee's Game 3 on Saturday afternoon. Also, I believe, a 2 p.m. first pitch against Arkansas. Yes, that's correct. And you can hear that game right here as well, courtesy of the Vol Network.
How big would it be for them to get an NCAA home regional? Because that's the thing that they are still, I mean, obviously you're aspiring for that each and every season, but the thing that was kind of, that's the reason that the losing kind of raises a few red flags or alarms here. Is like, all right, are you going to be able to host an NCAA home regional and make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity to continue to advance through the postseason?
Yeah, for the majority of the year, they have felt like a lock to host in the postseason, and then that just slowly started slipping. And then 4 SEC series losses later, you're thinking, oh, God, you got to do something here in the last weekend of the regular season. Colts fan on the FNM Bank chat, Colts fan Buck R, so I guess your burner account on the FNM Bank chat, says Tennessee is not getting a regional. He also adds that next week will be our highest rated shows, which is typically the case when you're gone.
It would be if you were just replaying an hour and a half of Brian Callahan and Greg Cosell. Yes, that is correct.
No, Triple B's done the research. The focus groups love when Buck Rising's not in.
I am dying to see you conduct a research group.
I did. It's not me. It's Bert.
So who is? No, I am talking to Bert again. Because the two of you can't. Well, Bert can see you. You cannot see Robert, which is why you talk over each other all the damn time. I would love for Lucas to be the person like conducting the sample size, like the presenter, for lack of a better term, and Bert just scribbling on the back of a napkin all the different research findings that the panel is posing, which of course is nonsensical, and neither of you would be any good at that at all.
Yes, actually, I did want to present some research. Can you hear the paper?
What is actually on that paper before you make up what's on that paper?
Jawan Bentley, he's 28. He played in New England. He has a torn pec in somebody's notes. I don't know. But here's what I'm making up is on this paper. Research shows that they would like to change the name of this show to the Triple B Show. But it is not because I am on it. It's because we are all Triple B. Lucas is the big booty buddy. I am Big Boss Bert, and you are Big Baby Buck. We could be the Triple Bs, the Killer Bees.
Wasn't that already a thing in Pittsburgh?
Was it?
Yeah. Do you want to do Steelers cosplay as a Ravens fan?
I would rather do it better than them, and then they would be cosplaying as us.
I feel like they were. I think Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, and Le'Veon Bell were all better at what they do than what we do collectively.
Le'Veon who?
Yeah.
Quick recruiting update for Tennessee. This week, this kind of went under the radar. Tennessee quarterback commit Faison Brandon in the class of 2026 is now the #1 overall player in the 247 Sports latest player ranking. They also upgraded offensive tackle Gabriel Osenda the big Chattanooga prospect out of Baylor School, Tennessee commit to 5 stars. So good news on the recruiting trail for Tennessee.
Okay, very good. Well, that was many SEC stats of the day, I feel like. We were all over the place there. Some facts, some stats. All right. we did a new episode of The Install this morning. We obviously have had about a week and a half layoff since we did the live show, but Greg and I got back together today to talk about the schedule release. And one of the things that came up was Greg's conversations with NFL coaches about which quarterback is harder to game plan for, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Now, we've got some unique perspective around here to be able to talk about both of those things, other than people have watched Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So we will dive into that conversation, and you'll hear a little bit of audio from Greg Cosell coming up next.
We love being part of the moments that matter, which is why we're announcing employee pricing for everyone. You pay what we pay. Employee pricing at Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned, American made.
It is 11 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. College baseball, after taking Game 1 Thursday, Tennessee plays Game 2 at Arkansas tonight at 6:30. You can hear the Vol Network call right here on The Zone. Coverage begins at 6:15. Vanderbilt looks to take the series against Kentucky tonight with Game 2 at 6 p.m. from Hawkins Field. The final regular season series in the SEC. PGA Championship second round is underway. The top of the leaderboard consists of Jonathan Vegas, the Venezuelan, at 7 under through 9. 5 golfers tied at 5 under in second. Nashville Soccer Club looks to continue its run of form. Tomorrow night, they host DC United at Geodis Park. Kickoff set for 7:30. Pregame coverage right here on The Zone starts at 7. NBA playoff action happening tonight. The Eastern Conference semifinals headed back to MSG. The Knicks have a 3-2 series lead over the Celtics. Tip-off at 7. Stanley Cup playoffs. Game 6 is in Florida as the Panthers host the Maple Leafs with a 3-2 series lead. Puck drop at 7 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second hour is upon us, and we've had a lot of good conversations so far this morning, but this was one I did not expect to have. Now, maybe it's a bit of off-season sports talk radio that just happened to pique our interest, but we were doing the install this morning with Greg Cosell of NFL Films, and we did a couple of things with Greg this morning. We talked about, and something we're going to get to in the noon hour, who the Titan season opener is actually more important for, be it the rookie quarterback or really the new look offensive line. It's an interesting discussion, and we'll get to that later. But something that was also brought up because we were talking about the schedule with Greg and intriguing matchups. You have a lot of coaches moving around. Obviously, personnel changes year to year with free agency. But the idea of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and those two being, all right, because we have a resident Ravens fan on the show, are those the two best quarterbacks in the sport? Because Lamar's last year was awesome. His last season was excellent. And the only reason that we are not talking about, and I know Josh Allen won the MVP. It was a terrible, terrible mistake, I think, by the people that get to vote on the MVP. Me personally. Thought Lamar deserved it. But I don't know if Mark Andrews catching that pass on the goal line that he ultimately dropped for the Bills to go on and win that game in the AFC playoffs this year, I don't know if that so impacts the dialogue around Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson when it was a Mark Andrews error. And I don't even think the MVP thing impacts the conversation that much when I think Lamar Jackson should have won the MVP last year. But are those the two best quarterbacks in football right now, Mahomes and Allen?
Sure.
I might be willing to have the conversation just based on talent that Allen and Lamar are more difficult to play right now than Mahomes is.
I think it's a great example and a great question because all three of them are in spots that accentuate what they are good at. They have great head coaches who build around the team. It's not like where you're trying to square peg a round hole.
Do we think? Do we think that highly of Sean McDermott? I mean, I think he's fine.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
How he rallied around him, and like despite
his 9/11 reference or whatever it was.
I was trying to find a delicate way to say it, but
he made a 9/11 reference. Like, I don't. He did it, not us.
he did it, and it fired the kids up. So I would say Sean McDermott's up there.
Okay, no, for sure up there. He's kind of like in this weird Sirianni spot with me, where Sirianni's now a champion, so people are going to talk. I assume people are going to talk about him as one of the best coaches in football, but I don't know. He doesn't really get that shine that way, it seems. Anyway, so Cosell and I were talking about the Ravens and the Bills because that is the week 1 nightcap, and it is a great matchup. There's a bunch of great week 1 games, and I think the Titans and Denver is an interesting, certainly, I don't know how great the game itself will be, but it's definitely an interesting game. But anytime you get Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Lamar Jackson squaring off, and you probably put Joe Burrow in this conversation too. Any combination of those four quarterbacks, it's going to attract eyes. It's going to attract attention. It's going to be probably a great game. So we were talking about the Bills and the Ravens as a part of our schedule discussion, and then Cosell just added this note into the discussion about the game on conversation that he has with coaches about game planning for quarterbacks.
I mean, obviously, with Josh Allen and that offense, there haven't been a lot of changes, and we know that they can score, and we know what Josh Allen is. I've had coaches tell me, and these are coaches now, so I hope people understand that that's what I'm saying. Coaches tell me that they'd rather play Patrick Mahomes than Josh Allen, that Josh Allen is a more difficult player to play against. But the point is, Buffalo has to retool their defense, and that's what they tried to do in the draft. Now, obviously, as you know, their draft picks, as soon as the draft happens, people grade and say, oh, they got this, that's an A. You don't know till they play. But they really tried to upgrade their defense because that was a little bit of a concern a year ago. They really couldn't rush the quarterback particularly well. Their secondary was an issue, particularly the corner position. They did re-sign Christian Bedford, who they really liked, to a multi-year deal. And then they drafted Maxwell Hairston in the first round. And they ideally, they would like him to start opposite Bedford. But you never know with a rookie until, you don't know until you start going through the offseason program and training camp. So they really retooled their defense. Their offense is essentially the same. Everybody's pretty much signed. Yes, they did sign Josh Palmer as a receiver because, they felt they needed a receiver that has some kind of vertical ability. But Buffalo is just a good, solid team. But, obviously Lamar is always a tough matchup for any defense. You probably saw that Derrick Henry signed a big extension. Mm-hmm. I mean, that guy's a freak of nature. So, he's a fascinating guy. I mean, he's just one of those guys that's different. You probably know him. He's just different.
So that's Greg Cosell on this morning's episode of The Install. Is that up?
That is up wherever you can watch your podcast or watch your YouTubes. Hop on there and check it out.
All right, very good. We appreciate you doing that this morning for me. And we had a great conversation with Greg. It was good to get back in the saddle after the live show. And you can, of course, subscribe to new episodes of The Install each and every Thursday. Greg had a doctor's appointment yesterday, so we put it off for a day. But interesting conversation. So we've got three unique perspectives in the room on Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And if we want to have a conversation about Lamar Jackson in here, too, we can. I have covered 6 Josh Allen games against the Tennessee Titans. I have covered 3 Patrick Mahomes games against the Tennessee Titans. And I have an interesting perspective here. Robert, as a Ravens fan, has seen his team open the last 2 regular seasons with both of those teams. And by nature, both of those quarterbacks. And Lucas has obviously done stuff for Titans Radio for how long at this point? It's been 3 years?
I think we're going on year 4. Yeah.
Okay, so you've done it for 3 years, and this will be year 4. And obviously,
fifth.
Is it really? Okay.
Might be the 6th.
I don't think that's true.
Some say 9th.
That's mine. But you obviously watch these. You are here more often than not. I know you have traveled a little bit. You did do a game at Buffalo, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 2022, we were in Buffalo. Yeah, Monday Night Football, and then that same season, Sunday Night Football in Kansas City when Malik Willis took the Chiefs to overtime.
You were there for that, too. Okay, so you have seen both them on TV and also the perspective from the Titans radio booth and the press box, which can be different than watching a game on television. When I have covered games that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes has played against the Titans, who do you think has the better record? Now, Josh Allen has greater volume. If you just had to guess sight unseen without looking it up.
Better record in terms of win percentage?
Just against the Titans.
Oh, against the Titans. Yeah. Allen, right?
Allen is 4-2 against the Titans.
Yeah.
Mahomes is 1-2 at this point against the Titans. He's 2-2 if you count the AFC Championship game.
Which you should.
You should.
Be no reason not to.
Yes, absolutely. So, and to my knowledge, the Titans and the Bills have not met in the playoffs when Josh Allen has been the quarterback. So, Josh Allen's success has been in the regular season. Mahomes has had games in the regular season and in the postseason against Tennessee.
In fact, I don't think they've met in the playoffs since Music City Miracle.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, because isn't that what plunged the Bills into that long drought?
Yeah, they were out of the postseason for like 16 or 17 years. So, yeah, that's crazy to think about, especially given how often they've played in the regular season. It's a weird schedule quirk, how often the Titans and the Bills have played basically since, 2018, I think was the first of those games, especially with Allen as the quarterback. When I have covered Titans, Bills, or Titans, Chiefs, Josh Allen has been the more difficult player for them to handle. Now, they were at a point for a good portion of that 4-2 where they were able to keep pace. Like that Derrick Henry, Josh Allen back and forth game, I believe it was a Monday night game a couple of years ago where the Titans were able to outlast the Bills, but it was an absolute track meet. Josh Allen doing it through the air, Derrick Henry doing it on the ground. One of the best games I think I've ever covered, to be honest with you. But Josh Allen has been perpetually harder to stop. Now, Mahomes is the better quarterback still, where Josh Allen is the better football player. Like Josh Allen will just go Mad Max at any given point. Mahomes has he's got you in 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12. You think you're going to get him off the field and then he'll scramble for 13 or whatever, which is the thing that I think most recently was perfected by peak Aaron Rodgers. Or you would think you have him boxed in on 3rd down and then he'd scramble for just enough yards to be able to convert there. Josh Allen, though, can break off a 50-yard run if he wants to. Pat is not really doing that, or at least doesn't have to do that. And also Mahomes' weapons have denigrated around him significantly, where they've tried to do more and more over time to support Josh Allen that way, which, of course, would make Josh Allen harder to defend. Now, without dropping Lamar Jackson into the mix here, too, because I think there's an argument to be made there, do you guys have different perspective on which quarterback is tougher to play against?
Yeah, I'll go first. So just a question for you guys. How many times was Josh Allen sacked last year?
Ooh, good question. They had a good offensive line unit. I'm going to say 12. He's waiting for you to guess.
16.
He was sacked 14 times.
Okay, split the baby.
Patrick Mahomes was sacked 36 times. The reason Josh Allen is sacked less is on early downs, 1st and 2nd down, if he is put in a perilous position. It's not that he's always breaking away from the tackle, getting out of the backfield. He's strong enough. He has enough Big Ben in him to throw the ball away while grown humans are standing on him.
He'll do those ridiculous things like go all the way to the sideline, be falling out of bounds, and then just rip it across his body.
Right. And sometimes it's not even a completion. Sometimes he's just preventing his offense from being put in 2nd and long or 3rd and long in that instance. So that is what I find most difficult about Josh Allen. Both he and Patrick Mahomes are great off script. If the play breaks down, they both know what to do. They both know how to get their guys in space. But for me, the biggest thing is you can't fluster Josh Allen with pressure, because he knows he is strong enough to withstand the pass rush, stand up in another grown man's face, and hold his own body up against that pressure and rip the ball off.
It's the most Cam Newton element of him, that he is bigger and faster and stronger than all the bigger and faster, stronger humans on the field.
100%. That is why I think Josh Allen is harder to prepare for, because both of them can do things off schedule that are incredible. But Josh Allen, you could have the best blitz in the world. You could have the best pressure in the world, and it's not going to matter. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes was sacked almost 3 times more than he was last year. And people could argue, the offensive line was worse, and I'm not going to disagree with you there. But I don't think it's as big as a separation as it was in 22 and 23, or 23 rather, than it was in last year for Mahomes.
I think just most people, when they would hear, well, Josh Allen's harder to play against than Patrick Mahomes, would probably at least knee-jerk reaction say, well, no, Mahomes is the champion. Mahomes has won way more. Mahomes owns Josh Allen, this, that, and the other. And that's all well and good, but I still do think at the end of the day that Josh Allen is the more difficult player to play against, because he has so many more things that he can do to you physically that Pat just doesn't. I mean, he just doesn't have that in his bag, even though Patrick Mahomes has as good a toolkit as any quarterback might have in that situation. Lamar Jackson in the mix. I might argue that Lamar Jackson is more difficult to defend than Patrick Mahomes. Again, even acknowledging that Mahomes has them in spades as far as championship career accomplishments. But those are team accomplishments, too. And Kansas City has had great defenses throughout the course of that. I might argue that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen do much more of the heavy lifting on their own.
It's weird because Mahomes has just stopped dominating by the numbers like he did in the first, I don't know, say 3 to 4 years.
He looks much more
5 years.
pedestrian statistically.
Yeah, like the
than
last
he did
2 years.
What was the 50 touchdown year? Was that his first full
That
year
was
as a
his
starter?
MVP first
Crazy.
season. Yeah.
So he kind of maxed out, aside from the 50 touchdown year, 3 seasons ago in 22 when he had 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions.
Yeah.
That led the league in yards and touchdowns and touchdown percentage that year.
Yeah, he hasn't even come close to those heights. But again, it's in the playoffs and in the biggest moments where he's turned it on. So it's interesting what that's done to the general conversation on the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
We can ask Coach Mack this. Mack has been a defensive-minded coach. He's been a head coach. He's been a defensive position coach throughout the course of his career, and God knows he's covered plenty of games with all 3 of these quarterbacks featured. We can also touch a little bit on this. This will probably satisfy our schedule discussion for the portion of the day, given that the Titans schedule came out on Wednesday, and it'll be our first opportunity to talk to Mack about that. We'll do that next on Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. It's a common frustration around guys when you start to get up there in age and you start to feel a bit tired, maybe a little sluggish, just generally not like yourself. You just chalk it up to the process of aging. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be inevitable. Low energy and performance issues, solutions do exist, and they exist at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. The difference for them is that there's no guesswork and no gimmicks, just real science and effective treatments that are there to provide you the best path forward. Generic online pills are overpriced and ineffective, and the Tennessee Men's Clinic will give you a personalized treatment plan with multiple urologists and providers that tailor solutions specifically to your body and to your goals. They have comprehensive men's services that include ED treatments, testosterone therapy, and other options that a lot of guys don't even know exist. It's affordable and accessible. Your consultation will include blood work with results before you leave. So don't procrastinate, because it'll only make the situation worse. Call the Tennessee Men's Clinic today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com today. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Always a great time on a Friday. When we hear that music, it means Coach Dave McGinnis' visits with us are finally here. We wait all week to talk to Coach Mack, and it's our great pleasure to be able to do it on a Friday. It's also our great pleasure to be able to do these segments presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. They got a cool event tomorrow to celebrate Police Week, Blue and You. They're going to have the Mount Juliet Police Department on hand. They're going to have great door prizes. It's a free event for you to come hang out, get to know the Mount Juliet Police Department as well. You can win tickets to the Nashville Zoo, Robert. You can win tickets to Holiday World Splash and Safari from 9 to 11 a.m. at Two Rivers Ford, 76 Belinda Parkway in Mount Juliet. Coach Mack joins us now. Mack, how we living on this Friday?
Doing good. Yeah, Two Rivers Ford's always doing great things for the community. It's tremendous what they do. That's a cool event that they are having.
Yes, and I know that they look forward to it each and every year, and it's always a good time. Free Chick-fil-A. You can't beat free Chick-fil-A, especially going out and hanging out with the great officers, the law enforcement officers from the Mount Juliet Police Department. So 9 to 11 a.m. tomorrow if you are interested. Mack, I know you've talked a bit about the schedule release this week. We do this with you on an annual basis, but just to refresh for the audience, as a coach, how you go about diagnosing the schedule once you finally get it from the NFL.
Well, I mean, you look at it, and the things that come up, first of all, you want to see when your open date is, because that makes a little bit of difference. Now, you can't control it, but it makes a little bit of difference as far as to your planning. I think, their open date at the week 10 is that's about the middle of it. That's perfect. It's a lot better than the early one last year. It's a lot better than one I had one year. I was a head coach where we had the open date the first week of the season. How do you think that was?
First week of the season?
That's crazy.
Yeah, check it out.
What does that do for
Coach,
anybody?
How does that? Was that like a misprint?
Coach Mack's never lied to you or the listeners about anything I ever talk about. Check that out in your history books.
Oh,
but
my
anyway,
God. You should teach an NFL history course. I know you're doing 1,000,001 things right now, Mac, but there are so many things that you have seen and witnessed that the NFL has workshopped and survived essentially at this point in time that would shock the vast majority of the audience.
And there are far more useless courses at about every institution in the country.
Absolutely.
I'd rather take that than ice skating or whatever it might be.
Yeah, but anyway, you look at that, and then you look to see, when your divisional games on. The next thing you look to see is do we have any consecutives both on the road and at home? And they're one of the teams that have 3 consecutive road games, but they also have 4 consecutive home games. So there's usually a yin and a yang and a balance in that. We know there's no primetime games now because you are playing teams on the West Coast, both in the AFC and the NFC. It's going to necessitate some 3 p.m. games. So you know that's coming, and also you just check to see how far you're going to have, what your travel is going to be. They're right in the middle. You always get that information. They're right in the middle of the mileage travel wise for the league. I think they're a little over 18,000 miles, which is right about in the middle. 16 or 17 for the team. So you check all of those things, and then you make your plans accordingly. And then again, you work it around what you're going to do in the preseason. The preseason has changed a lot because now you've moved into 3-game preseason with an alternating 2 at home or 2 away, depending on what year it falls on. So all of that stuff has to come into play. But once you see it, I mean, it is what it is, and you get ready to. You start looking at, and you have your people that are involved in breaking the tape down early on. Once you get that definitive, you start breaking down at least, those first three people from previous years, because you're not going to have a 3 to 5 game spread on what you're looking at for your game plan until you get 5 weeks deep into the season. So that's immediate work right now for your people that are going to be breaking that film down as soon as you know who the first 3 opponents are.
Coach Dave McGinnis with us, as he is each and every Friday. His visits on the radio station are presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Well, that was going to be my next question, Coach Mack, with Denver, week 1. And now that you know that's who you're opening the season with, what does that entail? How much are you paying attention to the draft class, maybe how those players will be utilized, understanding that you don't know. You won't have any sample size of 2025 of the Denver Broncos to prepare for.
Well, you've got a sample size of what Sean did last year. I mean, you know that, so you'll start to look at that, but you'll start digging into the whole team, and especially when you're playing a rotational team that hasn't been in your rotation for a while. I think the last time we were out there was COVID, correct? I mean, that was the last time that we've been out there.
Yeah, the Steven Gostkowski game. You were out there, Mac. I was watching safe and sound on my couch at home. You guys were the only ones in the stadium, it felt like that day.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was very, very bizarre. It really was. I mean, that was their first run at it during COVID. We won't elaborate on any of that, but it took us about 25 or 30 minutes because they couldn't get the thermometers working to take your temperature. They took Mike Keith's temperature first. He's 107.6. I said, I don't think you can go in there. So, I mean, it took us. That was different. Nobody in the stands. So that's the last time that we've been out there. It'll be a completely different environment. Having been out there several times in my coaching career in this league, I mean, you've got to. I mean, they're normally the crowd is jammed up. It'll be a pretty good environment. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It's not as dire as people think it is, as far as about the elevation. But they're a good football team, and that's something that to Lucas's point, that they are already digging in on the intricacies of that football team right now, and will do so throughout the whole preseason.
So, Coach Mack, the Titans are on the road for 3 straight games. They are one of 3 teams in the NFL to have that as a part of their schedule. They are at home for 4 straight games. That has not happened for this franchise in a decade. Do you take that trade-off, the 3 straight road games, in exchange for being able to be at home for, in totality, about 6 weeks, Coach, with the bye week kind of sandwiched in there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a yin and a yang to that, so you absolutely do. You got no control over it, so but yes. The answer to that is yes. The 3 on the road, then you'll have to decide how you're going to navigate that. But the 4 at home, hopefully by that time you've got some things worked out, and you're a healthy football team, so you can take advantage of 4 straight at home. That's what you're looking for.
Mac, I sent you this article too quickly for you to have the opportunity to look it over before we jumped on here with you, but it is interesting, and I would like to get your reaction if I could read you some of these details from Albert Breer, who is reporting that in Minneapolis next week, NFL owners will have a chance to make the biggest change to postseason seeding in decades. The Lions proposed this to reconfigure the system. Detroit's proposal would be for the 4 division champions and 3 wild card in each conference to make the playoffs. Those 7 teams would then be seeded strictly by record rather than assigning the top seeds to the division winners, which is obviously how it is currently done, with the wild cards to follow. If teams have the same record, being a division champion would be the first tiebreaker, regardless of head-to-head. The other change in Detroit's proposal from March is for teams to then be reseeded after the first round of the playoffs. So in this case, the number 1 seed would play the lowest remaining seed in the conference rather than automatically facing the winner of the number 4 versus number 5 matchup, with the other 2 remaining teams playing in the other divisional round game. Does that strike you in any particular way? Because Burt about lost his mind over it.
Well, first of all, tell Burt to relax. The other thing is, it takes 24 of the 32 to change it, but they've kicked this idea around for a while now, and it's going to. I think it's going to be kicked around some more. I mean, you saw that thought process start to elevate with the 17-game season. They go to an 18-game season. That's really going to elevate that. The argument against it is people are going to say, because you play each division opponent, twice, in your division, that those games carry a little bit more weight, so they should be able to be rewarded. And the others will say, and now it's a meritocracy. because of the 18 games, you're playing, most teams most all the time. They've kicked this around for a while. I'm not sure it will pass for this first iteration of the vote. As I said, 24 of the 32 have to vote for it, for it to be able to carry, just like anything does, anytime it takes it to an ownership vote. But I don't think the idea is going away. I really don't believe that it's just going to be a one-off thing that'll go away.
Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio, his visits presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Coach, how much influence do you think last season had on that, specifically with the way the NFC North season ended? The Lions and the Vikings, obviously, 14-win seasons and then battling for that home playoff spot, one of them ending up having to go on the road.
Well, that's where it came. I mean, but it's happened before. And then of course, clearly, in years past, you've had some division winners that have not had a winning record, and so all of that stuff has figured into it. A tipping point would be, just as you said, what happened last year, very much so with two teams that had quite a few wins, but one of them, really didn't get awarded for winning a lot of games. They still are on the road. So as I said, that's been kicked around for a while. This is not brand new, but I think it got a little bit more impetus just because of what you said. But again, go back to what I said. It takes 24 of the 32 to think it's really something that has to be changed for it to be able to be changed. But I don't believe it'll be just a one-off vote that they'll shelve.
Coach, you sent us all the NFLPA guidelines for off-season rules in the NFL, things like contact work being prohibited in all workouts. They're strictly voluntary. Clubs cannot indicate that they're anything but. The intensity and tempo of drills should be at a level conducive to learning, with player safety as the highest priority, and the different phases, everything that goes into it. I'm just curious, how night and day is the difference between what we're reading today with the off-season rules put out by the NFLPA versus what you were dealing with as an assistant on Mike Ditka's Bears staff in the late 80s?
Well, that'll be about 2 chapters in my book. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, I've seen this league change through a lot of different iterations. And the reason I sent that to you guys, I've done a lot of out-of-market interviews since the draft's been over. And I've been to every practice they've had since the draft has been over. And people ask me, what are they doing now? What are they doing? How, and I think it's important just so – you guys probably knew it anyway, but so that your listeners, if they do ask you, you'll have it right there, and it's laid out. It's laid out pretty succinctly, because once that new CBA came in and those things were bargained. I mean, and look, you have got NFLPA representatives coming to these phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 practices to observe and see that all of these rules are being followed. And that's why I wanted, you guys to have them, because I know you guys know it, but it helps our listeners if they, want to know the specifics of what's going on. They're in phase 2 right now, but used to be, look, first of all, as soon as you came in, you may have had 2 days of trying to get them in shape, because they weren't around all off season like they are now. I mean, they just weren't. And then the pads came on pretty quick. So it's a different world. I mean, it really is. But it's very succinct the way they put it out. So I thought you guys would like to have that.
Yes, because Mac, you cannot just assume that we know anything about anything, even though we've been doing this for a long enough time, where you should assume some level of competency. It's good of you to hold our hand through that process, because God knows we need it. Coach Mack.
Well, that wasn't the intent, but I just know the questions that I've been asked, for the last 10 days that I've been on other shows, out of market and other places. And it's something that, everybody's going through right now, because everybody's excited after the draft, and they want to know how does this player look? How's this player look? How are they doing? Well, right now, they don't have helmets on. They haven't hit anybody, and they can't go against each other. There's no offense versus defense of anything in there. So it's pretty instructional at this point.
And that was the thing that Callahan emphasized to us last week, I guess it would have been, when we were able to go to the one open day for us of rookie minicamp, Mac, is that, basically there's a lot of teams in the league that do it similarly. I'm sure, given the rules, most teams probably do it this way where it's just so instructional, so technical at this point in time about footwork for the quarterbacks and the different things that the running backs are learning from Randy Jordan, the tryout players, the UDFAs, and things like that, that the competition portion of it, there's always competition involved. You're obviously competing every day in the film room, in the weight room, on the field, even if it's not direct competition with another player in front of you, but just how much of an emphasis the teaching technical side of it is right now, especially for this coaching staff, is just what Callahan was trying to convey to us.
So that's absolutely right. I mean, as I say, I've been there every day, since the draft's been over. It's like it's exactly what they're doing, and there's a lot of various conditioning drills that go on too, and you can see. And the other thing I wanted to get to is the time limit. There's a time limit as to how long they can be in the building, and subset it down how long they can actually be on the field. I mean, all of that stuff is very, very regulated now. And as I said, you got NFLPA representatives at every club watching these things, and they're all filmed, and you send all the film in too, so that they can go over it and see, because they just want to be sure everybody's following the same rules. And it's gotten to the point now to where they've got a pretty good idea. These are the rules. You follow the rules, you'll be fine.
Coach Mack, I could use your advice on something real quick before we let you go. My cousin, Antonio, is coming over from Italy. He's stateside for the first time in his life. He's about my age, and he's going to be in Nashville this weekend, experiencing Music City for the first time. Now, you have had many worldly travels. You've been to Europe multiple times with NFL teams, I understand, taking in new sights and cultures. I'm curious, Coach Mack, I want to ask you, what to you is the most difficult thing in Nashville for the European mind to comprehend as I kind of plan out our itinerary for this weekend?
Well, it's not only the European people. It's people that come here, from the continental U.S. that come to visit me. They want to know, what the hell is going on at Broadway every day.
Yeah.
They can't imagine that. They said, what is the special occasion today? Because this place was jammed. So that's the first thing you need to do, is take him downtown and show him that this is how it is every day here. Now, I don't know where he's from in Italy, but they probably don't have anything like that on a daily basis.
No, they don't.
We made it about the amount of overweight tourists that he's going to see on Broadway, and how the European mind could not comprehend that specific part of the American health and fitness situation.
Well, but being in Italy, he's probably seen some overweight tourists over there too. So I mean, But the Broadway experience, even for people that live in America, that come to visit me for the first time, go, wow, this thing is really alive 24/7 here, isn't it? And I said, yeah, pretty much so, it is. But here's the other thing too, and I'm sure that his culinary spectrum is pretty much different over there in Italy. As much as you guys are with the hot chicken business, I would definitely be sure he experiences that to begin with.
Oh yeah, we'll be going to Hattie B's, Coach Mack, 100%.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, Hattie B's would be something, but I don't think you really have to give him too much of a tour. Take him to Broadway, and the prime hours down there. If you don't, just ask Bert. Take him down there, and it'll be good.
See, he was hemming and hawing about going to get drunk on Broadway with us tonight, Coach Mack, and now he's officially you are the representation of Broadway on this show. How does that make you feel?
I'm cool with that. I thought you were bringing me as security in case anybody tried to cause any trouble. I was there to straighten them out.
Ah, okay, very good. Yeah, because if we were in trouble, I would look to you to save us out of whatever
at 1 a.m.
adverse circumstance.
Oh,
Yeah.
Listen here, buddy.
With 3 cigarettes in your mouth and 2 eyes going in two different directions. Yeah, I bet.
That is the value of Bert. He's the Swiss Army knife of a buddy.
Isn't that the truth? Coach Mack is the Swiss Army knife of Titans Radio. He does it all. He says it all, and he is the best in the business. His visits are presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Mack, thank you as always for making us smarter.
Guys, have a great weekend. See ya.
That's the main man.
Love you.
Coach. See you, Coach. I mean, I think he knows that we love him, but maybe should we be saying it more?
That's one thing I've always thought. No one ever says, love you, talk to you later. Everybody's like, all right, thanks for the time. Appreciate you telling us about your brand new book coming out.
Speaking about you being drunk, I don't know if you remember this, but you looked at me while we were smoking several cigarettes together at Red Door and told me that you loved me, and it was very sweet.
I was telling Bert,
it was
always
very sweet.
We just had the draft, and you get all these videos of, GM talking to prospect. Congratulations. I'm going to pass to coach. Coach, congratulations. I'm going to pass to the owner. Yeah. I've always wanted along the line one of these executives to accidentally say, okay, I'm going to pass you to Coach Callahan. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. What is it? I need you now to tell me, since we've brought this up for the first time, since you and I were at Red Door smoking cigarettes together and you professed your love for me, what is it about me that you love?
The fact that we have what to give away for Friday Fire?
2 tickets to see AC/DC next Tuesday.
That is if you give us your Friday Fire. Coming up next, 615-737-1045. What's your feel-good moment from the week? Give us a little bit of positivity. We'll send you to AC/DC. I'm Buck Rising, 1045 The Zone.
Music City's coolest new spot is Fog Street Lawn Club. It is a great spot to watch any sports, spacious bar downstairs, TV everywhere. Nashville's premier soccer pub. Also, if you're a soccer fan, your go-to spot to watch Nashville SC games. It's even open early for Premier League games, even those 6 a.m. kickoffs. A great crowd is sitting up there on that gorgeous rooftop watching those games, enjoying some brunch and the sunrise. Speaking of the rooftop, it's the best rooftop view in Music City. Take my word for it. Go to find out for yourself. You can play British-style lawn bowling up there or cornhole for free, or head next door, challenge your friends to some axe throwing at Bad Axe. Located near the Gulch, Fog Street gives you the experience of downtown Nashville with an escape from the hustle and bustle. Family-friendly, great for all sports fans who can even host special events like parties or corporate events. Plus, their excellent menu of British pub-style food and large drink selection. And I'll see you out there at Fog Street Lawn Club.
for the opportunity to win a couple of AC/DC tickets. All you need to do is tell us the good stuff that happened to you this week, personally, professionally, and maybe in your sports life. Just don't make bleep up like that one guy that called in and lied to us. Friday Fire, 615-737-1045. I will start the proceedings. So Sports Illustrated used to be a staple. Did you guys collect Sports Illustrated editions?
I was a Game Informer guy, really nerdy kid.
See, I wanted the covers of the Sports Illustrateds because I just thought they made, they're always great visually, or at least they were. I don't know. I mean, I think they still do covers, but.
Yeah, the swimsuit's cool.
Well, that's my Friday Fire. Normally, I'm not the lecherous one on the show, especially between me and Robert. But Selma Hayek is the cover girl for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Selma Hayek is 58 years old. All I feel I need to say about the situation is Selma Hayek is my Friday Fire. And we were almost deprived of the opportunity to have Selma Hayek on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition cover. Because
you're going to say like on the show or something.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, my
Selma
God.
Hayek coming up next.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like,
how'd
she
you prepare
looks
for the role,
ridiculous.
Frida?
She is 58 years old. It's not even like a horny bonk thing. Like, you just have to pay respect to her being an absolute goddess at 58 years old. She lost all of her luggage, apparently, on the way to the shoot. So she almost backed out of it because she didn't have whatever outfits that she planned or this, that, and the other. I caught a clip of her on Jimmy Fallon talking about this the other day. But Selma Hayek, 58 years old, 2025. God bless you.
She's the grown-ups actress, right?
Yeah.
My Friday Fire is...
It's not a good joke.
Wait, hold on. You remember when everybody was making fun of Quentin Tarantino? Yeah, Quentin Tarantino wrote From Dusk Till Dawn just so Selma Hayek would pour tequila off her foot into his mouth. Yep.
I would do that.
Oh, God.
And what?
Yeah.
And what about it?
It's the most I've ever agreed with Quentin Tarantino in my entire life.
We can skip over me because we've talked about my Friday Fire the whole show.
No,
That
you
my
have to-
cousin is coming to the U.S.
Again, not everybody listens to all 3 hours
We
of the show.
literally
you
talked about it
narcissist.
like 4 minutes ago.
Your cousin's coming. We're
My
going to
cousin
take him out
Antonio
and
coming
get
to
him.
America for the first time, and we're going to give him the quintessential Nashville experience this weekend. That's my Friday Fire.
I'm
all you
so
needed to
excited
do.
to meet Antonio. This is going to be so cool.
We are going to embarrass ourselves, I'm sure. He will think so little of America because we will be the representation of America tonight.
I'm going to order so many lemon drops and be like, this is limoncello.
It's our version of limoncello.
Oh, my God.
Well,
Can you imagine?
y'all, he speaks enough English, but he's here to work on it. So,
Oh, really? So he's going to be dealing with us in broken English?
hey, that's how you get better. He's just going to be taking it all in.
All right, Robert, go ahead. I can put them on hold while you do your Friday Fire.
My Friday Fire is Nashville Shores opening up their doors this weekend. I think it's today.
You're not getting paid for this, are you?
No, I'm not getting paid unless they would like to pay me because I'm a grown-ass man and I love Nashville
Well, you're a
Shores.
season ticket holder.
I am a season ticket holder. Cheyenne was like, hey, she came to me with her. I was about to ask if you guys ever have this happen, but Buck doesn't have a girlfriend, and Lucas's girlfriend lives 2 states away.
Fiance.
Your girlfriend will fiance. Your girlfriend will come in the room and be like, hey, how was your day? Did you have a great day? What do you want? I need money to renew our Nashville Shores memberships. Here's my card. Take it right now. Do it. I'm excited to lay in the lazy river today. I'm excited to go to the wave pool maker. So we're going to have a big day today.
It's so
in
cloudy.
You in a wave pool.
That means there's going to be no
There's
sticky-fingered little
literally
kids.
severe weather. No, there will for sure be, because today will be the day it's not crowded, so all the people that were going to
Yeah.
take their kids are going to take their kids.
I will also be there, and you kids better get the hell out of my way.
And you
'cause
will
I'm
be
going,
the one with sticky fingers.
Yeah, I will have sticky fingers because nobody closes those lockers there. I don't know if you guys know or not. Lockers are not easy to close at Nashville Shores.
If you are
Purses.
stealing things out of lockers from Nashville Shores, Robert, I don't know
From
what
the
you need in
children.
your life.
I'm just borrowing.
I went to
Mostly chaps.
I went to Nashville. When did we go? Was it last summer or the summer before that?
I think 2 because we didn't have them last
No,
year.
I did not go. I refuse.
No, it was
No,
just
you will
Bert
go.
took me for a day to Nashville Shores, which I had not been to since I was a kid, and it was slammed. There were,
We got in the lazy river and there were no tubes.
tubes.
We had to walk the lazy
walked
river.
the lazy-
It was just a river.
I just imagine you
counterproductive.
standing up like belly button height in a lazy river, walking around smoking a cigarette.
The antithesis of what the lazy river is supposed to be.
You would be wrong. I was hippoing. I think everything was submerged below my chin, and I was still smoking a cigarette in the lazy river. Sir, can you put that out? You'll put out a tube.
The only thing you see from the water up is a nose and a cigarette.
You just have to follow it like
like a snorkel.
Like a snorkel, you see it moving, but it's just my smoke trail. It's like a train going around the mountain.
There is not a scenario, Bert just threatened me, that I would go, there is not a world in which you are going to be able to drag me kicking and screaming to Nashville shores.
That is our next adventure.
0%
That is our next adventure. We're going to have to bring Justin out there. We're going to have to bring the GoPros. We're going to go down some slides.
Will be so much fun.
in water wings. And
we all have to be in Speedos, too.
Okay.
That's because you own one and you felt great shame going to Europe or wherever you were recently in a Speedo.
The Dominican Republic.
I don't remember where you went.
Quite the opposite.
All right, what's your Friday fire for the opportunity to win these ACDC tickets? 615-737-1045. How about RJ in Phoenix?
Week 5, Tennessee Titans versus the Arizona Cardinals. I've been waiting since 2019 for the Titans to come out here, baby. I will be there, section 131. It's going down. I can't wait.
Okay, I'm excited for you. I'll see you there, RJ. If you see me wandering around, just flag me down. I'd like to come say hi because we appreciate the way you support the show.
Titans takeover in Glendale.
All right,
Hey.
Buck, check me out. So my Friday fire is the ex-players, man, having somewhere outlet, man. I love hearing Cortland Finnegan this morning. We got Keith Bullock. They doing something on ESPN with Richard Sherman after he had his little thing, man. Those guys really need a way to stay connected to the game. It's super important. You would not believe the stuff that they go through after the game when it's been their whole life. If I win, give the tickets to Bert and Lucas because I can't go. I will be in Nashville June the 7th through the 9th for my birthday. So if y'all got something going on, let me know. I will be there. I want to support.
Absolutely.
All right, RJ wins. I want to appreciate everybody else for calling in.
You two are not getting the tickets.
Come on. What he just said if he
You are already
why'd you hang
bothering
up on
our
him?
promotions department for your own free tickets. You are not going to take them just because a listener said, if I win, give my tickets to them.
Let's keep it moving. Let's hear from Henry.
Henry is next.
Hey, y'all. Long-time caller, first-time listener.
Yeah.
I am getting married next Saturday, and we sent out a bunch of invitations to other groups that all are extra ones. And one went to the Miami Marlins, our favorite baseball team. And they wrote us back, got that letter this week. And it's full of fun baseball puns, and they're wishing us a bright and promising future, just like a perfect day at a ballpark. It really made our day.
I love that for you.
Wait, Henry, you invited the entire Miami Marlins franchise to your wedding?
Really, I just wanted Billy.
Fantastic.
Billy the Marlin.
That's awesome.
Thanks for the call.
That's really good.
Marriage
What?
is what brings us together today.
Marriage.
Yeah, okay. I got it.
I can't believe they responded. That's awesome.
Tony Kornheiser does a good bit on his podcast where people will invite him to his wedding, and of course he'll never go, but he'll read the invitations on the air. That'll
That's
be like
great.
months after the fact. All right. How about Craig? Remember to stay on hold for the opportunity to win those tickets. Craig is next.
Yeah, my Friday fire is just after a long, busy work week this week. I walked in the door last night and had a surprise visit from my granddaughters and open up the door and I hear Papa and my little 2-year-old granddaughter come give me a hug. That was my Friday fire.
Oh, that's lovely.
We
that
love
for you.
them babies.
Excellent. I don't, but.
Hello, tiny person.
Graham is next.
My Friday fire is one of the organizations that put out one of these schedule release videos. I'm not a big fan of these videos, but I love the combination of incompetence and softness displayed by the Indianapolis Colts. Go Titans. It's my Friday fire. It brought me happiness.
That's good. Appreciate the call. It was awful, the Colts schedule release. And worse that they deleted it and put out an apology afterwards. They should have apologized for how bad it was. Leo is the last submission. We got Leo.
Man, my Friday fire. Oh, first off, happy Friday, fellas. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
To you too.
Happy Friday.
I do have a feeling that I will not get chosen for said tickets because of the biases, but within my football family, I have a tendency to be like Mr. Buck. I'm the one that keeps it real and keeps it in perspective. And actually, the other day, the guys, even when we were talking about the Titans and the expectations for this year, they said, "Okay, Buck, keep on talking." And honestly, man, that actually made me feel good, man. So on your way out for the week, man, have a good time off, man. And like I said, I'm not taking it lightly that they compared me to you, man. I appreciate what y'all do, and I appreciate the show, guys.
Well, thank you so much.
Sorry they did that to you. I think
that was a very nasty thing that they said to you, Leo.
Henry should win.
I agree.
Is that the grandbabies?
No, the Miami Marlins franchise with a nice, thoughtful, detailed response to his wedding invite.
And went out of their way to, I'm sure they have a template like baseball puns for weddings and stuff like that, but still, it's a good thing.
He's already getting married. Somebody already loves him. What about this guy with the kids? Those kids do not
Famously,
love
I don't
people
like children.
naturally. Kids do not love people naturally. It is hard to make a kid love you. And the fact that the kid was like, "Give me a hug, Papa. Up, Papa." And you guys want to give it to somebody getting married. Ooh, somebody loves him. Ooh.
If a kid did that to me, I would not know what to do.
You hug them back.
It was a lovely submission by Craig.
It sure was.
But I think Henry should.
I'm so
Craig.
well. The beautiful moment was him and his grandchildren, and just being appreciated as a grandpa. That's a lovely thing. And so we're going to send Henry to the concert, and Craig will have the opportunity to win something else next time. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Titans camp competitions to look forward to. We'll talk about it next. Two Rivers Ford has an awesome free event this Saturday. That's tomorrow. It's Blue and You, where you get to celebrate Police Week with the Mount Juliet Police Department, 9 until noon tomorrow morning at Two Rivers Ford's dealership, 76 Belinda Parkway in Mount Juliet. Blue and You is your chance to engage with local law enforcement and first responders. You can bring the kids to meet and mingle with the dedicated officers who work around the clock to keep our community safe. Explore the inside of a police car, check out the tools of the trade, get to know the first responders of the Mount Juliet Police Department, even get free items for the kids, free Chick-fil-A biscuits while supplies last from Chick-fil-A Providence, plus a chance to win great door prizes like free oil changes, family packs of tickets to the Nashville Zoo, and family packs of tickets to Holiday World Splash and Safari. Show your support and celebrate Police Week with Blue and You this Saturday, May 17th from 9 to 11 a.m. at Two Rivers Ford. Like I said, 76 Belinda Parkway, Mount Juliet.
It is 12:04. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. College baseball tonight. Tennessee playing Game 2 at Arkansas after taking Game 1, 6:30 first pitch. You can hear it here on The Zone, courtesy of Vol Network. Vanderbilt looks to take the series against Kentucky tonight. Game 2 at 6 from Hawkins Field. Nashville Soccer Club looks to continue its run of form tomorrow, hosting DC United at Geodis Park. Kickoff at 7:30. Pregame coverage here in The Zone at 7. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Lest you think we're a professional radio operation, surely you don't if you've listened to this show enough. How many times did you just have to pause in the middle of your update because you could not stop eating the packages of nuts out of the what do they call those things, vending machine in the break room, literally 3 different times, and then after he turns his microphone off, he's basically choking to death in here.
No reason for you to... The audience was none the wiser.
It's for me and Bert. I don't care. In this particular segment, listen to me, audience. I love you. I love you all the time, except for this one moment when it's going to be for me and Bert. That was for me and Bert. Watching you nearly collapse in the middle of a segment because you can't stop shoveling nuts into your face.
Phrasing. That was...
Is it?
That was professionalism at its finest. The expert, number one, the timing at the... Oh, I just turned my mic on and off. You had no idea. I just cleared my throat. Nobody knows.
You're so loud, people can hear you on my mic.
I just coughed. Nobody heard it. Not a single soul in Nashville.
I have such like a triggered brain that whenever there is like silence, I heard him stop talking. So I'm like, oh, something's wrong.
Oh, I know. Well, both of us whipped around like, all right, what did he do?
It was a pregnant pause.
I look over there.
It was just enough time for me to think about jumping on him while he's doing his updates.
A pregnant pause.
It was if that was a pregnant pause.
Not a pregnant pause. It was you getting you are pregnant full of nuts.
That baby was being Jesus Christ. If that was a pregnant pause, then I'm a midwife because like I was ready to
holding
deliver.
His hand.
Come on.
This new trail mix pack that
No
they have in
free
the
ads.
vending machine.
No free ads.
I won't even say the name of the brand. So good.
Oh yeah, I love cars.
So good.
They do great stuff.
I've cleaned it out. It's so good. There's none left in the vending machine.
There are 300 calories in each of those packages.
260.
I have seen you eat at least 3 of them since the radio show started today.
Yesterday we were going to the balcony to talk, and Rhett was eating a pack of them, and Lucas goes, "Where did you get those?" He's like, "They're in the vending machine." Lucas comes back out with an armful. He bought 7
That's
packs.
not true. I got one.
He got 7
I don't want to get an
packs.
email.
He literally brought out the vending
company-wide
machine.
email.
He said, "None of you will ever get these ever again. They're mine."
The best.
And he eats them 3 seconds before he has to deliver a professional, lest we forget, sponsored sports update. Which, by the way, why the hell we're still doing sports updates in 2025 when everybody gets these notifications on their phone? Beyond me. It's one of the most archaic things that we do as a station. That's fine.
I disagree.
Whatever well, that's because you like money. But just watching him shovel these nuts into his face before turning on his microphone and then witnessing him 3 different times have to turn his microphone off because he's still trying to choke them down.
It's not even like I love peanuts, and there are a lot of peanuts in this thing, but it's the honey sesame sticks and the hot Cajun corn sticks that keep me coming back.
Hot Cajun corn sticks.
Sticks and nuts. It's what's for breakfast today. Lucas, we never got to hear the master copy of you interviewing somebody for NSC.
Do you have it?
Wale, no, I can't find it. He's hid it.
What did you do?
He has hid it.
Don't know what you're talking about.
You are not thorough enough to go back through all the catalogs of audio back there and delete this yourself. Where is it?
We have producers.
I need the audio of Lucas getting something got hung in his craw. It was like
it was your dried persimmons.
Oh, they were so good.
They were like candy. I ate way too many of those too.
And I ate those like an hour before we did the interview. And there was just like a little shred, a little morsel that just was hanging around in the middle of a question to Nashville midfielder Alex Muyl, probably about his childhood friend Timothy Chalamet.
They were so giddy that the soccer player said, "Oh, Timmy Shal, yeah, big Timmy Shal guy."
I'm sorry, but to hear him reference him as Timmy Shal, the homie, I couldn't get enough of that.
But Lucas cut it out of the interview. He wouldn't even leave it in. He re-asked the question and cut it out. I need the unedited version of that. I want to hear it.
So what we're going to do instead, since he has hidden his shame from us and from society, Robert, I'm going to send you searching across the width of the internet to find this Bomani Jones audio, him doing local radio in Charlotte when he was still a local radio host. I think maybe even ESPN radio at that time, but literally choking not to death, but choking so badly on the air because of whatever he was eating during the commercial break that his producer has to take over and start hosting the segment until he can rise from the ashes of whatever food, dried persimmons, mixed nuts or otherwise,
Sometimes,
that he was trying to eat on air. It's one of the funniest audio, and we're just going to pretend like that's Lucas. We're going to tell everybody that that's Lucas, since he will not allow it, because it's worse. It's 10 times worse than whatever Lucas is scared of people thinking about him as a professional broadcaster, even though he brings no professionalism to his sports updates.
I've eliminated popcorn on game broadcasts. Like any game, I cannot eat popcorn from the time I wake up to the start of a broadcast for a game the entire day, because that will stick around. Like it'll screw me over in some way.
So we were supposed to talk about Titans camp competitions here, but we can do that. We got months to do that at this point in time.
Who the hell's going to play linebacker next to Cody Barton? And that's it. That's the segment.
Okay, that is actually the segment. That's really,
we just saved everybody
really
12 minutes of vamping.
I think there is something to be said about the acquisitions, about them churning the roster on the waiver wire. Everyone they have added has been an outside linebacker or an inside linebacker.
Yeah.
Like they are not happy.
On like bottom of the roster stuff?
Yes. Correct. Like any of the waiver acquisitions, it was Orgy earlier in the week from off waivers from the Saints. Like anyone they add is either an outside linebacker
Vandy legend,
or an inside linebacker.
Yeah.
They do not like the bottom depth at this roster when it comes to linebacker.
Well, I brought this up in reference to the Jaguars, or maybe we didn't get to the full point that I was trying to make with it, but like James Gladstone, the new GM of the Jags, cut Gabe Davis. And it's not like the Jags couldn't use more wide receiver, just bodies generally. It's not like Gabe Davis is anybody super important, but it's like one of those things where you get to, as a new coach or a new general manager, you get to an organization, you're combing over the roster, and you say, well, if this guy that's already here is not so much better than the other guy that we just add for the sake of us adding our own players, then let's just turn. That's what it feels to me. Like that's what that Jack Gibbons, like just letting Jack Gibbons walk, for example, just find your own Jack Gibbons. If that's Alex Orgy, fine. That's
Anthony Orgy. Yeah. Who had a couple moments with the Saints. He was a UDFA in 2023, played in 16 games in 2023, had a couple starts, and was, like you said, really good player at Vanderbilt.
Unfortunately, I think the only evidence of this Bomani Jones clip is when Dan Lebitard picked it up and dogged him, brought him on the show only to harass him about choking on the said food, whatever was messing with him.
I'll take that too. We'll just say that it was Lucas they were talking about on the Dan Lebitard show.
All right, fire away then.
You ready?
Well, for those who don't, he hosts a show, The Right Time, 4 to 7 on ESPN Radio. Yesterday, he had a little bit of difficulty starting a segment. Welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Welcome back to The Right Time with Bomani Jones here. We're going to be joined by Brian Windhorst.
That's his producer taking over.
ESPN.
He's literally choking to death on air.
I'm good. Something got caught down my throat. Sorry about that, Brian.
No, that's Bomani. No.
How does Cavs not have a general manager right now?
You just ran over the best part. He just immediately pivots into the Brian Windhorst interview. Fade the rest of it down.
Here very shortly. I'm good. Something got caught down my throat. Sorry about that, Brian. In the meantime, how do the Cavs not have a general manager right now?
Just immediately pivots into asking him about the Cavs GM. Chokes to death on air, comes back from the dead, Brian Windhorst on the line. All right, Brian, talk to me about the Cavs' lack of a GM.
Have you guys ever had Bomani on?
No, but he's excellent. I'd take Bomani anytime.
I'll have to reach out to him.
All right, very good. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. All right, who is week one more important for? Cam Ward or the new-look Titans offensive line? You'll hear from Greg Cosell I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Trajan Wealth is here to help you like they've helped so many other people. You can score big in retirement by beating the shot clock with a call to Trajan Wealth today and learn about their strategic wealth management solutions. The simple truth is that there is more to retirement planning than simply calculating your expenses. Trajan Wealth can help you design a strategy based on realistic options that align with your goals and your circumstances. So call Trajan Wealth today if you're interested in wealth management that's designed to protect, maintain, and expand your financial portfolio. Trajan Wealth offers retirement income planning services that start with an in-depth understanding of your short and long-term goals. So call Trajan Wealth today to learn more about these strategies. Their number is simple, 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000. You can visit them at their 2 local locations, Brentwood or Franklin, or online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. Welcome back to the show. Last time I heard this song, the three of us were on a party barge. Not a party barge. Well, I guess it is technically a party barge. It's the Pontoon Saloon.
Ooh. We have to do this tonight with your Italian cousin.
That's the only time you've seen me chug beer.
And you were terrible at it.
That's not true.
You wasted so much.
No, I didn't.
It was just pouring all down your face. I don't even think you drank it.
Cheyenne has that video. I smashed it.
I think that you put your tongue
I was very
over
proud of myself because I haven't chugged a beer probably since high school.
I feel like you put your tongue over the open beer tab and acted like you were chugging it, but then just let it pour down over yourself.
Just like out whatever angle Cheyenne was facing with me, I just poured it down the other side of my face.
Yeah, yes.
Like people who get bought a shot but don't want to take the shot anymore, so they just toss it behind them when the other people aren't looking.
I know that game.
Well, who should we get drunker tonight, Lucas or his cousin? I vote Lucas.
No, I have work tomorrow.
I really, really want to get his cousin.
We all have work tomorrow. You're going to be fine.
Robert doesn't.
Oh,
yeah, I'm just showing up for fun.
Lucky you. Anyway, we Thunderstruck. Just that was a good time. The Pontoon Saloon. We should maybe that's the cultural appreciation tour that you should take your cousin on down the mighty Cumberland River to see. I don't know. Top Golf. What can you see from the shores of the Cumberland? The old Nissan Stadium site at this point in time.
Some rooftops give you a good view of the river.
You can do that,
but no rooftop better than Fog Street Lawn Club.
And why should people care about that?
Take them there because it's Nashville's premier soccer club and great for all other sports.
Thank you.
Oh, now we're going to be here for another 2 minutes.
His live reads. I mean, I swear to God, they get longer and longer.
He loves that place.
They don't give you more money the longer that you read.
I do it out of passion.
It is a fantastic spot, though. Went over there and threw some axes the other day with Cheyenne.
Did you actually?
Incredible.
Oh, nice. Bad axe. You and I were there before the Jack White show.
My memories of that are faint because I don't know what I was doing before I stumbled over to Fog Street Lawn Club. I've been out too much lately. Is the takeaway from this. Either way, we are going to talk about this opener. I said yesterday that I was sick of schedule talk, and I'm sick of schedule talk, but this isn't a schedule conversation. This is a football conversation. It just so happens to be with the first opponent on the Titans schedule, which you know by now very well, is at Denver, a 3:05 local time kick, Cam Ward, NFL debut at Mile High. This was something yesterday, obviously, took up all the oxygen around the game about Cam Ward's debut, right? Worst case scenario for Cam Ward, based on who they could have put in that opening spot. We talked about that. Maybe he overcomes. Maybe he's good enough that it's not a bother. Maybe it's a ugly game, as most week one games typically are, because football teams are just trying to get their feet under them. The most unpredictable week of the NFL season, to me, is always the first week of the season. But Cosell brought up a really important point on the matchup side of things when we did the install earlier this morning. And, of course, you can check out the install with Greg Cosell of NFL Films, wherever it is that you get your podcast. While you're there, you can check out the live show with Brian Callahan on YouTube, which has done very well. We're also putting out clips with the film cut-ups that we talked about with Callahan on social media, so you can consume all of those and make sure you get the most well-rounded experience of your head coach breaking down your quarterback. So this was Cosell talking about the week one matchup between the Titans and the Broncos.
What intrigues me is just what you spoke about. You know, Vance Joseph is their D coordinator. He's been in the league a long time. You mentioned the defense, obviously. They led the NFL in sacks last year, and they have a high blitz percentage. That's Vance Joseph. This is going to be a really interesting matchup week one for Tennessee and for Cam Ward. But it's not just Cam Ward. It's the O-line. But the one thing, what you want about the O-line for the Titans, we know it's been among the league's worst for 3-4 years in a row now. We don't need to discuss that, but now they have veterans. So now there's a difference in how they can handle this. Cushenberry will be back at center. My guess is he'll handle the protections, not Cam Ward. They have Zeitler at right guard. He's seen everything. He's 34, 35 years old. They have Moore at left tackle. He's a fifth or sixth year player. Even Skoronski is now a third year player. So at least they have some veterans on the O-line. But this is a very, very difficult defense to play against schematically, particularly on third down. So this will be it'll just be for me, it's a petri dish experiment. It'll be fascinating to watch. Obviously, you're in Nashville. I don't have a horse in the race. Would I prefer to see the Titans win? Sure, but I don't have a horse in the race.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, just for me, a fascinating matchup of a veteran coach in Vance Joseph, who's seen everything, with a really good defense in terms of talent and schematics now, versus a rookie quarterback and an O-line that, even though there are veterans, is playing together in a real game for the first time.
So Greg obviously talked about Cam Ward there, but he talked about it through the context of Vance Joseph, the Broncos defensive coordinator's approach. And that was the thing, at least I hadn't heard anybody locally bring up the idea of, well, it's almost more important for this new look offensive line because that's going to determine how much Cam Ward is going to be able to get done this year. You paid Dan Moore $82 million to play left tackle. J.C. Latham is now a right tackle. I don't know if Lloyd Cushenberry is going to, the Lloyd Cushenberry revenge game, going back to Denver where he started his career. I don't know if he's going to be available for that. Ironically enough, Lloyd Cushenberry's last game, or first game as a Denver Bronco, was the last time the Titans were in Denver, which was that COVID season. He was a rookie center starting. I think he ended up starting every game, or at least like 15 of the 16 games for Denver that year. Out of LSU. It is almost, Cam Ward is going to have bumps and bruises along the way just by nature of being a rookie in the NFL, as all rookies do. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have great moments. And he's going to face adversity, and some of that's going to be self-inflicted. Some of that's going to be because his team's not good enough. Some of that's going to be because of the opponent. But based on the investment, there is obviously a huge amount of investment in Cam Ward, and the offensive line is a product of investing in Cam Ward. But you got to make sure this offensive line knows what the hell it's doing for this rookie quarterback, and week one is a huge test for them.
Yeah, in a strange way, like the expectation is higher on the offensive line than Cam Ward this season, like in a really weird roundabout way. The offensive line in year 2 now, Bill Callahan operating it. Mostly veterans across the board. Dan Moore Jr. Are we calling Peter Skoronski a veteran at this point? Year 3?
Yes.
Right?
He is now officially a podium. Well, actually, they haven't had anybody to put up at the podium, so they keep putting Skoronski up there. But in normal times, he would officially be a vet.
So basically veterans across the board with a healthy Cushenberry, with the exception, of course, of J.C. Latham, who's back at his more natural position, but only his second year in the NFL. It'll be his first time playing right tackle in the NFL. So the expectation will be higher earlier for the offensive line than for Cam Ward, right? Like Titans fans.
My expectations of Cam Ward will be dictated by what this offensive line bears itself out.
But I'm saying, let's say from Titans fans' perspective, like there will be more grace for Cam Ward if he has early struggles than the offensive line.
People are specifically.
Yes, people are sick of the Titans toiling at the bottom of the league with offensive line play. And Dan Moore Jr. has this big deal. So what I'm saying is fans will have a lot less patience for a struggling offensive line than for a struggling rookie quarterback, especially if he's playing behind a struggling offensive line out of the gates.
There was a lot of different ways that this matchup is going to be interesting, given that it's going to be the Broncos defensive front versus this new look. Can we consider now the Titans offense rebuilt, offensive line rebuilt?
Yeah, from the starting
even though Zeitler's a one-year deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. And Kevin Zeitler, because I had some people asking me, do the Q&As on Tuesday or whatever, and people asking me, is there any world that Slater can start right away? I was like, why would you want the 5th-round pick out of Sacramento State to be in your week 1 lineup just because he's a draft pick? That's insanity.
No, he gives you depth there. We were talking while you were gone about Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, the Florida tackle. Like, that's your swing tackle right now, probably.
Oh, yeah, because they could not wait to jettison NPF into the sun.
Yeah, they gave Crenshaw-Dixon a fully guaranteed $245,000 deal. That's a huge deal for a UDFA. So depth-wise, you're in a tough spot. But in terms of starting 5, it's rebuilt. It is rebuilt with a healthy Lloyd Cushenberry.
I would expect them to revisit the George Fant situation. Has he re-signed anywhere? He visited prior to the draft, visited the Titans, visited the Ravens.
We do this dance every year with him because he's local.
He's a free agent.
He is a free agent for sure, but he has visited it, and it's because it's like he lives here. He wants to be proximity.
Yeah, from Bowling Green, played at WKU, played basketball
at WKU. But they lowballed him. Was it last year or the Dillard year?
They tried to give him vet minimum. I can't remember.
I think it was the Dillard year.
I think it was Vrabel. Yeah, it was Vrabel era.
It was the Dillard year. So and then he ended up going on to start like multiple games for the Texans.
Played decently for the Texans.
So my point is he had visited the Ravens and the Titans to this point in the offseason. The Ravens had signed Joseph Noteboom, who is another veteran tackle. So they would...
He's a Rams player most recently, no boom?
A Rams player, yes, who has declined rapidly, and I would have much rather them sign George Fant, but that's neither here nor there. So George Fant suitors has dwindled to the Titans, and I wonder if their price would once again drop because they are the only suitor calling, or the only suitor he's visited at least.
You need to visit Game Terminal tomorrow afternoon. We'll be there. 2 to 6 p.m. is the time for their 4th annual Beer Fest. You might hear Beer Fest. It's not just beer. It'll be a day filled with beer, cider, alcohol tastings. That is included with your purchase, plus a gift bag and swag. $40 online, 1045thezone.com to purchase, $50 at the door. A portion of proceeds goes to the Nashville Humane Association. Again, 1045thezone.com for a great cause, and Game Terminal, a great spot.
How many other things are on that piece of paper?
Not that many. The Golf Classic, which is coming up in June.
Mm-hmm.
And
have we heard anything about that today?
Yeah, for sure. We have a whole month.
Robert got in my ear and said he's only ever read that liner the entire time we've been reading.
Don't you dog me like that.
Okay. What do you mean? What did you just say in my ear? What you said in my ear was worse. I protected you.
I don't know if, I guess I have to explain this to you. Beer Fest is tomorrow. The Golf Classic is on June 9th. So folks have almost a month to purchase their teams. Okay. So by proximity,
please show up to my thing. Please, God,
Beer
show
Fest,
up to my thing.
It is just it's right around the corner. People have only 24 hours to go to Beer Fest.
Yes.
And if you get your tickets ahead of time and not at the door, they're $10 cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What are you waiting on?
Go help out those animals.
Look at you being a fake good teammate back there after
Read it
taking
again.
him out
I'm over
silently.
him. Read it again, Lucas. I'm over him.
Are you actually going to?
Go ahead.
Okay. But your
Join
point
1045 The Zone this Saturday at Game Terminal for their 4th annual Beer Fest to benefit the Nashville Humane Association. Get ready for a day filled with beer, cider, and alcohol tastings, games, fun, and excitement. Buy your tickets now. $40 online, $50 at the door. Portion of proceeds to the Nashville Humane Association. 1045thezone.com to get tickets. We'll all be there. We'll see you there.
Yes.
that is not where Liam Neeson needs to make a reappearance.
Yes.
No. Liam Neeson, do you belong in that particular spot at that particular point?
No.
Thank you. Thank you. I miss my ongoing dialogue, my inner monologue with Liam Neeson. So, to your point about Fant, he makes too much sense. But where are we with the Titans in post-draft free agency? Because I have banged the table as many times as humanly possible for them to go out and sign Zadarius Smith on a one-year deal. We will see what they end up doing. There doesn't sound like there's been any notable movement around him whatsoever. We have also talked about the cost-benefit analysis of veteran wide receiver help. I don't know if you are going to be appreciably better if you add Keenan Allen at this stage of his career or Gabe Davis. You will probably be more ready in week one with veteran wide receiver help than you would with two developmental guys in the fourth round, likely starting opposite Calvin Ridley and potentially Xavier Restrepo in the slot, depending on how this whole competition plays itself out. Obviously, Tyler Lockett's in the mix there too. But if you bring in veteran wide receiver help, what does it deprive you of? The opportunity to develop those young players. So I'm not really sure, and this would be a good question the next time we meet with Brinker or Berganzi or even Callahan, even though he's not signing players, he's involved. The idea of what is more important for you guys right now. As a coach, I would imagine it's to win games right away as opposed to develop the younger players, but that doesn't really seem to be the tact that this team is taking.
I mean, who are you talking about when it...
DK and Iamaner.
No, I know that. I'm saying when you're talking about potentially bringing in more veteran wide receivers.
I think I just named them, Keenan Allen and Gabe Davis.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Keenan Allen, I'm fascinated at what his price tag might be.
Amari Cooper.
I'm almost okay with where they're at right now with the wide receiver room, just because it's not because, it's up there, the best receiver room in the AFC South. It's not. But
it's fine.
Because it will force DK and Io to grow up quickly and put them in that position.
And that may be what they want, but I truly don't know. Like, is that what's best for Cam Ward?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly debatable. I think Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley is enough of a veteran wide receiver presence to help Cam Ward along. And, there's health stuff with Keenan Allen. Where is he at this point in his career? Amari Cooper, that was a big deal when he went to the Bills. Like, that was, I won't say a blockbuster trade, but it felt like
it was a trade of consequence.
Yeah, exactly. A trade of consequence, a notable move for the Bills to try to elevate their offense. And he just didn't really provide much. He had a nice debut and then didn't really provide much down the stretch.
Didn't you send me something with a couple of Bills nerds on a podcast talking about the difference in terms of the advanced metrics that Amari Cooper made for their offense last year?
Yards per play and success per play were at a higher rate when Amari Cooper was on the field versus when he was not.
Well, if they're going to bring math into the equation.
Right. I'm not exactly happy about it either, that he can remember things from 3 months ago but can't remember my birthday. But Amari Cooper.
Your birthday?
Today, Buck. Today is my birthday.
Is it really?
That would
Yes.
be a great twist.
Yes, today is my birthday.
No,
Yes.
you're not older than me.
I
You look older than me.
No, my birthday's not today, you goober. All that to say, Amari Cooper made the Bills more successful, whether when he was on the field.
You both should have made me think that your birthday was today. You would have gotten way more out of me today, out of guilt.
Good luck.
I had to cut out the I don't care part.
Okay. 615-737-1045 is the number. Are your expectations different for Cam Ward versus your new-look offensive line? You've got two players that you have added to the mix. You've got one player who will play, I mean, I don't know if left tackle to right tackle is an entirely different position, but it is a different position than he played his first year in the NFL in. And you have questions about your center situation, given that you had and even when he comes back, he is going to be, I don't know. I am going to give Lloyd Cushenberry some grace because a human being that size with an Achilles tear is going to have, I think, a tougher road back than your average football player. And this would be a good question for Ramon or Blaine or to slay any of the professional athletes that we have, because I think it's an interesting comparison between an Achilles injury in basketball versus an Achilles injury in football, because an Achilles injury in basketball is a death sentence.
It is so much more severe.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Tatum be lucky to be back for the playoffs next year.
Durant did it.
Didn't he miss like a calendar year?
Yeah, it was tough.
And then didn't he try to come back in the finals and play against the Raptors? Was that the same year and re-injured it?
I want to say if it wasn't the same year, it was the year after.
Because Clay also got hurt that same finals, had to shoot free throws injured, left, and didn't play.
I feel like jumping is a big factor there.
Yeah, but this is
the amount of jumping.
This is a 320-pound, 310-pound
oh, yeah, not easy
forklift loader, that's going to have to move people out of the way.
It's different from Kirk Cousins with the Achilles injuries late in the season with Minnesota, and then he's like moving around in off-season workouts the following off-season with Atlanta for a relatively immobile Kirk Cousins who isn't exactly looking for contact, and contact's not a big part of what he's doing on the field any given play. It's very, very, very different, for sure. So I have no idea how we should set expectations for Lloyd Cushenberry, honestly. I saw this. Albert Breer had some thoughts on this. He said he asked an experienced sports ortho after the Jason Tatum injury, because he tweeted this a couple days ago. I wondered, in the wake of Jason Tatum's injury, why Achilles timelines are so wildly different for NBA and NFL players. So I asked an experienced sports ortho. Got two reasons. Number one, NBA players are better protected in general. So NFL guys are routinely on more aggressive timelines to return. And number two is jumping. Very, very scientific. That's what he wrote. Like, number two, just the word jumping.
So people are saying that white men can't jump in Kirk Cousins' case.
I wonder what his vertical is at this stage of his career.
Kirk?
Yeah.
What's your vertical?
42, 43.
Did you guys see Janai Broom get dunked on for his vertical being the same as Desmond Watson's from Florida?
No.
So they both had, Desmond Watson had a higher vertical.
And he's the 400-plus pound Bucks defensive tackle, for reference.
Janai Broom jumped a smaller vertical than a 464-pounder did.
That's like James Pearson, that fire hydrant of a defensive tackle that was doing it at the Combine this year. James Pearson had like a 21-inch vertical or something ridiculous.
I probably also can't jump higher than the big fatty.
Can you break out of the teens?
In inches?
Yes.
No, probably not.
We should have a show
I don't
combine.
know. I'll jump for real right now
is-
if you think you can tell me how high I'm jumping.
Well, I can't because I can't, like, I assume we're on the same level. We're going to hear him jump. Is the microphone on? Oh, my God.
That's pretty good.
The people downstairs are, the sales staff scurrying around. Earthquake!
There's dust
That's like,
settling over the cubicles.
Hurt my ankles.
yeah, because you hit with force. You did not land with grace. That's like when, I don't know if you guys saw this from Titans. It was either training camp or maybe OTAs last year where they brought Jelly in to speak with the team. Mm-hmm. And Tavondre Sweat is famously a big country music fan. So Jelly invites Sweat up to sing with him. And Sweat is walking down the aisle of the Titans auditorium, and you just hear his teammates behind him every step he takes. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody yelled, "Earthquake!"
Sweat, nice voice, too.
Not the worst. Just good enough to be a bad singer.
Yeah, he
Fits right in this town.
was able to sing next to Jelly.
All right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was Buck.
Was that?
That had to be Buck.
What?
I'm pulling that
The
noise.
gulp sound. What was that?
Oh, did that
I
get
heard
out over the air?
Oh, my God. It was pronounced. I thought Robert was like doing a bit back there.
Do you have it? Can you pull it?
Yeah. I'm going to get that, too.
Find out next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Bert apparently has pulled the audio of me sounding like I'm choking to death back there. We'll get to that in a second. We have audio, though, from Boomer Esiason. We talked about this Caleb Williams story earlier in the show. The reporting from Seth Wickersham in his upcoming book. It's called American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. And there are some quotes. I'm sure there are many quotes because Seth Wickersham is an incredibly thorough journalist, and I'm sure he talked to a bunch of people. But the thing that has garnered the most headlines before the book comes out in September is the story of Caleb Williams and his father and their family actively trying to circumvent Caleb Williams getting drafted by the Bears for basically their entire pre-draft process, it sounds like, until they finally capitulated to the idea, all right, the Bears are going to draft me. If I'm going to play in the NFL, then I'm going to the Bears. Boomer Esiason has a local New York sports talk radio show on WFAN, and this audio has picked up a lot of traction of Boomer Esiason giving his thoughts on Caleb Williams' situation.
When you think about this, I think a lot of these kids and their parents are nowadays, and that the level of entitlement is breathtaking. And it's no wonder why he failed initially, and it's no wonder why the coach got fired. So now they go out and get an offensive coach in Ben Johnson, and you know what? Now it's on his ass. It's going to be on his ass to live up to these so-called lofty expectations that he has for himself and that his father has for his son. You know, and I understand, you know, that there could be a discussion, hey, this is where quarterbacks go to die. Well, you know, go fix it. Be the reason that the team is going to turn it around and you be the player that you think you are. And I would just tell them, you know, just keep your mouth shut. You're going into the greatest league that there's ever been for the sport that we all love. You're going to have a chance one day to make $500 million because guys like me and guys before me all went on strike so you could actually make more money. So keep your pie hole shut and go out and play football and earn your keep and earn your respect.
Keep your pie hole shut. Average age of the human being that is saying the phrase pie hole in
We should bring it back.
There has never been a more boomer person named Boomer.
Yes.
We should bring that back, though.
Also, is he just basically doing shut up and dribble?
No, he's not doing shut up and dribble. Did you even listen to what he said?
Like he's talking about entitlement.
Yes. So now talking about entitlement is equivalent to saying shut up and dribble.
Why is that entitlement, though?
He's a rookie quarterback.
He feels he's entitled to a better situation than he thinks arguably one of the worst places where quarterbacks go to die. I don't think that's entitlement. I think that's smart if you can find a way out of it. I don't begrudge
players that had their success in the NFL looking at players that have never done anything in the NFL and wanting things that those players that are looking at them from afar or any other players had to work to get with that respect and entitlement and the money that comes with it. Like Boomer Esiason is saying, no, you don't get to choose where you're going until you prove that you're worth something in this league. And I can sympathize with that. Like, I get where he's coming from.
But also, golly, man, if I'm Caleb Williams, after hearing that.
That was you. Into a live microphone about 5 minutes ago.
It sounds
so
like
much phlegm.
It sounds like for our radio audience. Let's do a little theater of their mind. Lucas, I've put an egg beside you. It is neither hard-boiled nor scrambled. It is a whole egg with the shell included. I need you to pop that in your hand and pop it on your pie hole right now. He's doing it. He's grabbing it, and Lucas is going to swallow the egg. Oh, that was amazing.
Like when you're eating oysters. That's what that sounds like.
Oh, the oysters don't make a noise. Guy, if I ever ate an oyster and it sounded like...
I don't even think I could recreate that sound if I tried.
I know, you don't even think you were drinking anything. I think your Adam's apple was just doing regular maintenance or something. I don't know.
I've been smoking a lot more cigars lately, and I think I'm starting to get super phlegmy because of it.
I mean, it sounds like the sound in a cartoon where, like, your egg scenario, and you can see the egg, like the shape of the egg bulging out of the cartoon's throat, traveling down his gullet. That's what it sounds like.
Or like, now it's, imagine, we're going to do some more theater of the mind here. It's Friday. You guys indulge me. Sitting in the classroom, it's me, Lucas, Buck, at the back of the room. We're lighting little firecrackers on fire. Pow! Little firecracker on fire. Pow! Oh, which one of you children was doing that and making a ruckus?
It
Buck.
is so pronounced that it is cartoonish.
Right. I couldn't manufacture that. I'm going to try to
I
make
don't even think I could.
No, it's
That
hard.
wasn't even.
It feels forced. It sounds like you've got gas.
That's the sound that Oklahoma City Thunder fans are making as Nikola Jokic leads the Nuggets back to a Game 7, an elimination game for
We
a
had
spot
to pull teeth to get him
in
to
the
talk
Western
about
Conference
basketball. Now he's shoehorning it in 52 minutes.
I can't look away. I can't look away from the NBA playoffs right now. I'm serious.
They're great. I tried to tell you.
Knicks and Celtics tonight.
You can't jump on the daggum Nuggets after saying you were a Knicks guy. You can't flip flop like that. I thought you were a Bing Bong guy. Now you're a.
Oh
guy.
yeah. No, I'm still Bing
Back
Bong.
to back, I don't like that. I like it. I like it less than I do just standalone. Ugh, that's too
What
much.
if I just keep doubling it?
It sounds like a bullfrog.
All right, more theater of the mind. Here we go. We're walking. There's a swamp.
We're just not doing polls today. Who would the polls be presented by if we were doing polls today? No. Damn it. It's worse because the Zone TV audience hears none of this.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Who is week one more important for on the Titans? Cam Ward or the offensive line? 61.7% majority say offensive line.
Correct.
Yeah. Who is harder to defend in the NFL? Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes? 63.6% majority saying Mahomes.
No.
What is the Titans camp battle you're most looking forward to? Scoob says wide receiver and tight ends. Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe says, how can it not be receiver? 11 players vying for maybe 7 spots?
Seven is the max, right? Like they're not.
Yeah.
Even if you started getting to the special team stuff, like there's only so much. 7 is probably as far as I go.
What is the hardest thing in Nashville for the European mind to comprehend?
Probably that sound I just made.
Kenneth says hot chicken. Ryan says full-size pickup trucks, which is an underrated one. Cars in Italy, incredibly small.
You would never see that in Europe.
No. Rock City says woo girls. Jason says squirrels. And I think
squirrels in Europe, you redneck.
Jessica is the winner. She says $18 American beers.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, those are the polls.
That's what Robert's going to sound like drinking those $18 American beers while we show Lucas's Italian cousin around Broadway.
Hey, he'll be at Game Terminal with us tomorrow if you want to come meet him. Tickets online at 1045thezone.com.
Come meet him. What is he, a circus animal? You running a petting zoo at this thing? Go support the Humane Association. Go hang out with Lucas and Robert. I'm gone all next week. Lucky for you. See you Friday.